Rusty, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
This is fascinating. I've had a lot of paranormal experiences because I grew up in a haunted house as well.
Yes.
And the things that I saw have really affected me as an adult because when I was a kid at our house, we saw ghosts, we saw poltergeists, apparitions, vampires, and werewolves, and witches, and swamp creatures, and gremlins, and ghoulies, and demons, and spiders, and ogres, and goblins, and dinosaurs, and warlocks, and sharks, and Mexicans.
There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. If you're seeing things running through your head, who can you call? Ghostbusters! An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. You're out of the cosmos. Really touch down and intergalactic man with the reps of renown. Chainsaw revving, carving through the void, jellyfish, great galaxies, shooter. Gummi got the buzz, slishing through the stars, from Milky Way to Andromeda, leaving stars, no candy-coated dreams, it's a gummy garage. Chainsaw spinning, chaos lit hard, on a planet where the gummies ain't soft and sweet. I'ma play the pause in the chainsaw beats, cutting through fleet, spaceships collapse, a sugared up warrior, leaving no gaps, on a planet where the gummies ain't soft and sweet. I'ma play the chords in the chainsaw beats, cutting through fleet, spaceships collapse, a sugared up warrior, leaving no gaps, clearing out nebula, making comets shake, even black holes whisper gummy don't break. Sugar-coated terror, no mission too abstract, annihilated fleets with the licorice attack. Gummi got the buzz, slashing through the stars, from Milky Way to Andromeda, leaving stars, no candy-coated dreams, just a gummy barrage. Chainsaw spinning, chaos writ large. that doesn't believe in ghosts. Poltergeists, apparitions, werewolves, vampires, witches, gremlins, ghoulies, demons, goblins, ogres, or swamp creatures. He's a skeptical robot that doesn't believe in ghosts. Poltergeists, apparitions, werewolves, vampires, witches, gremlins, ghoulies, demons, goblins, ogres, or swamp creatures. Apparitions, werewolves, vampires, witches, gremlins, ghoulies, demons, goblins, ogres, or swamp creatures. Ogres, ogres, and swamp creatures.
Hello, and welcome to Skeptical Robot. I am Luigi Greenberg. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Corndiff. How are you, buddy?
It's me.
Were you
Can you hear
muted?
me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can
Can
hear you
anyone
now.
hear me?
Oh, no, not this again.
Am I talking?
I
Hey,
hear
Trevor.
you fine.
I see your.
All right. Well, let's bring out our special guests. First off, going to bring out, you know him, you love him. We've had him here before, but now we're going to do intros, and so I got a little befuddled there. All right, so first off, we're going to bring out Trevor, the Looney Tunes Critic. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I wish I was that buff. that dude, I mean, that it's nice that you think that of me, but I mean, that dude's a problem.
I do think that of you frequently.
Okay. A problem in your life.
How's it going, man? Thank you
You
for
try
being
to
here.
do a skeptical show, and all the time, every time you talk to this guy, he's like, "You're a cynic, not a skeptic." I get it. I'm a problem.
But look at you. You're beautiful, according to your intro. Look at this. Hamhead, thank you for the $5. Can I get an extra long fart drop for my birthday yesterday? Fart, 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 farts, and possibly a corn shimmy so I can finish. Yes, sir, you absolutely can. Thank you for the $5. But like last week, going to give you the choice. Do you want it now, or do you want it to be a surprise? 1 for now, 2 for surprise. You let me know. I honor your request. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
How
Thank you
old
for
is
being
he?
here. I don't know.
How old are you, Hamhead? Come on.
Tell us. Okay, and now also I want to bring out a couple other guests. Let's see how. Corndiff hasn't come back yet.
Back.
He's not. Not sure what's going on there. I heard him fine. I think everybody could hear him fine.
Yeah,
I think I even heard him on the live feed. Not sure what's going on there.
I heard him.
happy
Wasn't happy
birthday,
about what I heard, but I heard him.
So my next guests are near and dear to my heart. My friends, my mentors. Please welcome.
And the co-host of the greatest Sunday show in the Dabbleverse.
Thank you.
Unboxing ETM, new episode Sunday. That's what I do now is I plug your shows.
I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, my co-hosts. Please welcome Casey Day and DJ Electra.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
I love that.
You like that?
Hello.
Hello.
That was amazing.
Why haven't you made me an intro like that the last 2 years? What have you been doing? This guy's been here for 5 seconds. He made that intro. My God, man. Good job. Kudos. And
I also-
kidding. Your intros are awesome.
Thank you. Big thank you to Gummi Chainsaw, the creator of those magnificent intros. And
I knew it wasn't you. Oh,
no,
thank God.
no,
I knew.
no.
Wiping my brow. I knew it wasn't you.
And we have a couple of spares for when you're here by yourself. And we played DJ Electra hers, and I gotta say, I think hers just knocked it out of the park. Hers was the best. Hers was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Tits not
awesome.
to scale, but yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you so much. Let's see, Corndiff is back here. Let's see if
Can you hear me, Luigi?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
okay.
great.
Awesome. Cool.
Hey, Corndiff, how we doing?
It's working.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
We're
Yay.
I can't hear you.
Oh, son of a. No.
Go on, come back in.
I think it did that last time. I don't know what that was. DJ Electra, Hack Ride, Trevor.
Hello.
Oh,
Corn.
Well, thank you.
Corn.
Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Thank you to Gummi Chainsaw, who has been doing so much work for this show. I said, I'm just going to start calling you a producer. And he was like, cool. So thank you, producer Gummi Chainsaw, for the magnificent intros.
He's probably been called worse.
Yes, they are incredible. And Casey, I've got another one for you that I got to show you. I got one just for you. But yes, Gummi Chainsaw is the best. He's really awesome. So thank you for everyone for being here. DJ Electra, you are actually returning from last week.
Oh, yeah.
From us talking about psychics and the fails and James Randi. And we're going to be kind of expanding on that a little bit today. Oh, you know what I never saw? How did Hamhead? Oh, okay. 2. Got it. Just saw it, Hamhead. All right. Let's see here. All right. So this week, we're going to be taking things just a little bit down a different road. This one is probably going to be our most educational show that we ever do. And I am going to warn you, and I apologize, you may have to take some notes because there's going to be a quiz at the end. It's a game, not a quiz. I sent everybody...
I don't have a number 2 pencil.
I sent everybody the appropriate game materials. And we will get there. I guess we'll use those when we get there. But
Can I
anyway,
use mechanical pencils?
I've told you this before. Our proctors do not monitor your pencils. No. So I have asked DJ Electra, I've asked Corndiff, but I'm going to just go ahead and ask. This isn't for me, but this is more for the audience. Tell me where you stand on psychics, Trevor.
Just above the head, in the neck, head area. It hurts the most.
Okay. Good to know.
Psychics, look, man, I think of, I do quite often give Weege the riz about the cynic versus skeptic thing, because I used to be a conspiracy person, and it kind of bugs me when people just say, "Oh, only idiots can be taken in by this shit." Well, no, not really.
No, I don't believe that.
However, okay, fine. But however, psychics are one of those things where even when I was a kid, I remember being in 5th grade and going to some psychic tent at my school's thing. And even though it was my friend's mother in pain and all that, I remember still being like, is this a real thing? Like, did you just make up some shit and people say, okay, that's my future?
Yeah.
That is from a very young age. It was like, this is malarkey, I dare say. So, yeah.
And how about you, Casey? Where do you stand on this?
Well, I don't know if it exists or not, just like I don't know if time travel exists or not, because if
Fair.
those things do exist at the high end of them, they would be in government, they would be in black ops buildings. We'd never hear of them. They'd be working in clandestine CIA kind of groups. So do I know they exist? I have no idea, but I don't think they would be doing parlor tricks for TV shows or a bunch of rubes. That's for sure.
I think that's fair. I think it's perfectly fair.
It's kind of gay, though.
Well,
I
we're
thought
going
it was
to be
a good point.
what we're going to be doing tonight is basically saying okay, so sure, my stance is that it's all nonsense. But even if you like Casey's saying, if you don't know and you're not totally clear on whether or not it's real, we're going to show
Can I say something?
Hold on, just real quick. We're going to show how your basic human, completely logical, completely reasonable techniques can recreate everything that a psychic does and claims is supernatural. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just in the middle of a point. I was afraid to forget it.
Don't apologize because I interrupted you. No, I do think some of it is residual, from when we were in caves and we had to have our senses heightened so we can anticipate danger, or when someone's coming or there's someone else around but we can't quite see them and we know that. I think that feeling is at the core of it. No, I had a sense, but it's so million generations away from being that anymore that it's just this residual thing that we have, and it's just a feeling. It's that old thing, feelings and facts.
And actually in our last episode, DJ Electra brought up something like that. She asked about gut instincts. And the way I answered it was, I think that gut instincts do rely a lot on knowledge and experience, and just kind of warning you. You have a choice to follow it or not. I don't think it's anything supernatural, but I do understand how it feels otherworldly. I get it, totally get it. I'm kind of defending your point, but when it comes to psychics, and what I'm talking about specifically with psychics is talking to the dead, the mediumship, and people who claim that they can, cross some fabric of the living and the dead and all that bullshit.
You know why they call them mediums, right?
Because they're not large?
No, they're called mediums because nothing they do. They're called mediums because nothing they do is rare or well done.
Got it. I have always wondered why they call them mediums. But what we're going to really focus on is the cold reading. We're going to talk a little bit about hot reading. And reading, of course, means basically giving you that connection, that service of talking to a dead person.
So hot reading.
Go ahead.
Hot reading is like the opposite of cold reading, I'm guessing, where they know stuff about the person beforehand.
Where they do research, where they actually look stuff up. Going to talk a little bit. It's absolutely cheating. It's also deceiving. Every part of it's deceiving. And going to just kind of talk. I don't know if we really want to go deep. I'm open to it about the hypotheticals of why it's morally wrong. But anyway, but really, I think also something we just kind of have to realize is I know everyone here. So for me to try to demonstrate for you, I do know how to do the cold reading techniques. If I were to demonstrate it for you, it wouldn't be fair because I do know all of you on some level personally, but it's just a probability game. So without going into details, I could say, hey, the four of you, have you had someone close to you pass away? What would your answers be?
Yeah.
I don't get close to people.
Casey? Yes. DJ Electra?
What?
Have you-
Best answer.
that has to be a short, by the way. That.
So, yeah, that's good. That's going to
Sorry.
get clipped.
Have you had someone close to you?
Have
die?
you had someone close to you pass away?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So it's a probability game. And so from there, what's the first thing I would do? I would try to guess their name. But we've never seen a psychic flat out say, I'll bet their name was X and get it right. So what do? They say, I'm getting a feeling for a name that starts with an M or a J. Now, let me ask you guys, the person who passed away, did their name start with an M or a J? No?
Yes.
Casey, yes. DJ Electra?
No.
No. Okay, so I got 1 out of 3.
Well, wait a minute. Does mom count?
You know what? There's probably some psychic out there that would say
Yeah.
that.
Take any
Okay.
win they can.
So do you know why I picked M or J?
Why?
Because those are the two most popular letters that begin a name in the United States. According to the 1990 census, the most popular names were Mary and James. Not John, oddly enough. Mary and James. But number 2 was John. So then from there,
John
I'm
is
going to
number
start
2.
making connections. Hey, that's good. I'm going to start making connections to make you give me the answers to fake this connection that we have.
I'm so
So-
on board for this.
So, here we go. Let's go ahead and get this started. Any questions beforehand?
No, man. Hit me.
All right, let's do this.
What happens is, generally what happens is you have a person.
First video we got here is a guy named Peter Nygaard. This guy is a private investigator who has specialized in finding crimes amongst psychics. He does a lot of work dressing up in costumes.
He
and
speaks
getting.
at the TAM, by the way, the amazing meeting.
Oh, does he?
He's a regular. Yeah, he's
Oh,
done
okay.
a few at the amazing meetings. Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that. And in this interview, he is explaining how the long-term psychic scam works. Now, I wanted this to be just kind of laying the basis and the foundation for all of the deception that is involved in this practice, service, whatever you want to call it, nonsense, of how it works. And even though people might think of this as kind of like a trick or entertainment, there's a real evil dark side to it. And let's let Mr. Nygaard explain it. Can everybody hear it okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Person that walks into one of these fortune telling parlors off the street, and they go in and they're vulnerable because they're going through a difficult time in their life. Okay, so they're going through love, money, and health are the 3 big things. So their boyfriend broke up with them, their husband left them, their wife left them, their kid has cancer, you know, they just lost their job. So then they walk in off the street vulnerable, and the psychic does what's called a cold reading. Okay, Cold reading is when someone comes in off the street cold. They look for verbal and nonverbal clues. They see, is this person here just on a lark? They just are here to just, do a $50 reading and want to just for entertainment?
Sure.
Or is it that they have a serious problem going on? So they're able to pick up on the people that have the really serious problems, the people that are vulnerable. And then they say, something, I see a darkness around you. I see a certain negativity. I see something plaguing you. You should be further in your life than you are right now, but there's something holding you back.
Now, let's just stop there to talk about it. Doesn't that, to some extent, apply to everybody?
Yes, literally everybody I know.
Can't you find some sort of meaning in yourself with what this guy's saying? That's where it starts. It's a really wide net. We're going to learn what it's called. That applies to everybody, and then it just starts to get a little smaller and a little smaller so that it feels way more direct and connected.
I see that you're a good person. You always do for others, but others don't always do for you. And then they start to throw out these, get to know the person, and the person starts to open up. And say, oh, I lost my job. Oh, my husband left me. And then they start to repeat things back to the person in a way that makes the person think that they are psychic, but they're actually giving the psychic the information, the self-proclaimed psychic. Then they...
That's the most interesting thing, I think, in my opinion, is I call it, there's a few different names for it. I call it pirating. It's basically when you start something and the other person takes it over. The way that this is done is just through manipulation and triggers to make someone hear it to suddenly want to now be proactive and get involved and finish the job. When I hear a person saying, oh, you might have connected to my mother, you might have connected to this, you might have connected to somebody I love, let me start making all of the connections myself so you don't have to do it anymore, and I'm going to explain how this ends.
Are you gonna get at all into? And you guys may have covered this on the last episode that I'm a part. Maybe I didn't see, but are you gonna get into a little bit how a lot of people when they go to psychics, they want to have this experience happen?
Yes. Confirmation bias. It is it's all confirmation bias. Yes, we're gonna get real deep into that.
Cool.
They say, now that we've established that there's this negativity, what we need to do is I need to do deeper research. I need you to write your name down, and I need you to write your date of birth down, and write his name down and your boyfriend's date of birth. So now we go from a cold reading situation to a hot reading situation, where when the person leaves, they're now going to research on the internet this person and learn all about them. So we went from cold reading to hot reading. Then what they do is they say, before you leave, we have to do deeper research. I have to get crystals and candles, but that's going to be $800. The initial reading is a nominal fee, maybe $50, $100. But now all of a sudden it's $800 or $900. Then what they say is come back to see me, and they say, upon doing the deeper research, I see that there's a curse that's been placed on you. It's a generational curse, and it's been on your family. And what happened is back when your father was dating your mother, he was seeing another woman, and he decided to marry your mother instead of that other woman. And what happened is that other woman put a curse on your family, and it passed to you when you were in your mother's womb.
Always blame women.
They're witches.
So let me ask the panel here. Has there ever been a time, Casey, DJ Electra, Corndiff, has there ever been a time where you might have felt vulnerable and saw a fortune teller or a psychic?
No. I live in Venice. They're like every 15 feet, so no.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No,
I've
never seen one.
Daisy, to some extent, marketed herself as a fortune teller.
Yeah.
I've certainly felt, vulnerable, but I sought out someone else's care, and maybe they were a woman, but it wasn't a psychic.
I mean, if your question is, have you seen or felt something that felt like other like worldly or not natural, not of the natural world? That's a discussion we can have. But are any of us dumb enough to go to any of these idiots? No, I don't.
Well,
I am. I did. I went to.
I walked right into that one.
Right on time.
another clip.
That train is never late.
Producer Gummi, I hope you're marking these.
Tarot card reader, and yeah.
Oh, well,
it was just like you said. It was anything could have been right. Anything could have been possible that she said. and so I didn't really take it seriously. I was like, "Why?"
I got
This is
into a
lame.
really big fight with a girl I dated who was into the tarot cards, and I should have just sat there and taken it and been like, "Oh, that's interesting." But she could see it the whole time. I'm like, "Really? Is that what it means?" You know?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, as much of a skeptic as I am, I have a lot of people in my family who are my direct opposites. Like I have a tarot card reader in my family. I knew people who went to faith healers. I have people
I wouldn't
who.
admit that, by the way.
What's that?
I wouldn't admit these things. You know you're on the air, right? Live.
I know.
We're not
I mean,
backstage. I'm just letting you know. All right.
and I think that to some extent, like I think actually to a large extent, that probably is what led me to be such a skeptic.
I was just gonna say that's probably what it was.
Yeah, I was just surrounded by it my whole life, and I was just like, I can't do this. This is too much responsibility to have to believe in this shit. And also, like a lot of what do you call it? Evangelical Christianity, like like the speaking in tongues thing. I got that in my family.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like if you believe one thing, you kind of have to believe a couple other things.
Yes, and we're actually going to hear him say the same thing.
I
many
want to
snake- how ma-
believe. I really do want to, but I just can't.
And you know what's funny is I find myself getting older, and even though I don't, I tend to respect the men that I've seen. I shouldn't say men. I guess it's just mainly men that I've seen. I guess I respect anybody who has.
Clip that, please.
I guess I just respect when I see it in athletes. I guess that's really what I'm thinking of. When I see an athlete say,
Not getting
praying after a win or something like that, I'm like, you know what?
We get it. You respect
It
the
helps
dick
him.
root.
It helps him, whatever, get through it, and he's a, whatever. I find myself respecting it more,
you're
even though I
saying that
can't believe it.
You're saying that you were, because I had an experience again when I was kind of young, like 12, 13, where my little sister was in volleyball, and my dad is an atheist. My mother was a Christian, and we had this volleyball team, and they were playing like a religious school. And I remember my mother at dinner afterwards just being like, because they were praying, come on, we got to win, and pray for the other team to lose. And my mother was just like, I do not understand people with that relationship to God.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, or when you hear it in the news, someone saying, God is on America's side in a war. I'm like, wait, what makes you think
God
that?
doesn't want war.
Yeah, but that's the exact same thing. It's like, wait, your school somehow has this passage to God to pray for a win.
Yeah, they have the direct line. They have the bat phone to God.
Yeah, I never got that. Never got that as a kid. But I guess I don't know. In some weird way, as I get older, I respect it more when I see it, even though it's not for me. Yeah. I'm just like, hey, good for him. Anyway, let's keep going.
And it's been on you. You're 30 years old. Been on you for the last 30 years. We have to.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I showed this. I didn't read it. Gummi Chainsaw says, Luigi, skeptical robot tarot cards. I'll start sketching. Man, I'm on board.
That's so cool.
Totally on board. Love it.
Oh, I want a set of those for sure.
That'd be great.
Hell yeah.
As Corndiff called Latin vaginas, I'm here to support my friend at Looney.
Oh, she has a puppet avatar. That's because she seriously wants to hook up with my boy Clay Duty over here.
Ah.
There you go, Latanya.
Hey.
Jerk off to that.
Corndiff said that he read that as Latin vaginas, and now I can't.
Latin vagina.
I can't not see it. So
Some of the best kind.
Latanya Vegas.
They're spicy.
I don't mean to be disrespectful. Thank you for being here, but when Corndiff said it, I just can't not see it now.
That's like if Bob, because Bob did that for your name, didn't he? Didn't he misread something that you wrote?
No, that was
Luigi Greenberg.
no. My name came from something else. That was Cupcake.
That's right, American
Yeah.
Cupcake. Yeah, good guy.
Undo this curse, or it'll pass on to you and your children's children, and it forever. You're the
Oh, by the way, I saw another variation of this thing he's talking about, saying that there's a curse on you, in which a psychic said someone put a curse on your dog. Yeah.
one in your
not a
family
good
that has
boy.
to stop this. You're the one that has the power to stop this. So they put this like pressure on the person. Then they tell the person, So now we got established that there's this darkness, there's this curse, but then they want them to do a ritual. You need to go home, you need to get $30,000 out of the bank because you're 30 years old. We have to undo each year of your age, get $1,000, $30,000. Yeah, well, they look at what kind of
Tanya Vegas. I love the name Latin vaginas. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
I wonder if that's a real puppet or if that's like an AI thing.
car does the person drive up in? Okay, what is the person wearing? Do they have expensive jewelry
Hey, Luigi,
on?
So
how much do you know about him, that guy?
I actually don't know much. This is my first introduction to him.
I'm wondering. I know I've only known the name, from like I saw in the Amazing Meeting rosters and stuff. But is it just me? He sounds like he's been affected directly by these people. He sounds like I imagine Houdini sounded at the end.
Very
of his life.
good, very good observation. I have to assume something like that's going on because he's way too passionate and way too vindictive.
You hear his voice cracking and stuff when he's talking about certain things. I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
that is weird.
This guy definitely has something invested in this.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm curious. I don't know enough though.
This is part of the cold.
Oh, and actually, he's getting into something now that we're going to see a little bit later, where he's talking about where the cold reading starts, and he's saying that now the person where the cold reading is now turning into the warm and hot reading, where he's now saying now they're, kind of looking over your car, looking over your clothes, looking over aspects of your life that are now going to influence their connection to the other side in order to get more money out of you.
Reading.
I didn't mean to slow you. So now we're at 30,000.
Right. So now we're at 30,000. Now they say you got to go to the store, grocery store, and get a carton of eggs and take one egg out and put the egg under the bed with the money, because money is the root of all evil, and we need to attract the evil. Will want to go to the money. So now the evil's going to go to the money. When you sleep at night, call me up. We'll say some prayers from the Bible. They use a lot of religious terminology. This is God. I'm doing God's work. God wants me to help you. I was put here to help you.
That's what I was talking about when you mentioned it earlier, is that they start crossing over into other things that you might feel an obligation to. If you feel an obligation to Christianity, well, there's a Christian aspect to this that you need to follow. It begins to sway, it begins to morph and mold into what they believe is going to appeal to the morality of the person.
It's not about money, but you got to get $30,000 and put the money under the bed. So now the person does this, gets the egg, and the reason we need the egg is because the evil's going to go to the money, be attracted to the money, but we need to trap it in something. So we trap it in the egg because the egg represents the soul. Sure. Yeah, so now the psychic calls up the person in the middle of the night. Oh, we've angered the spirits. The spirits have gone to the egg.
The sea was angry that day, my friends.
The room is dark. They say, look, take the egg, put it in this bag, and they'll have a bag there, or a cloth that they're holding in their hand. Put it in the cloth. Then they do sleight of hand. They already have an egg that they've doctored up. They've injected some cayenne pepper into it, or red dye into the egg, or they put a little black snake in.
So what he's saying is that there's now a physical manifestation of this curse that he's talking about, and people buy into this. And it's so funny because when I would hear this, I thought to myself, man, I mean, come on, you're not going to fool people with this. And I didn't want to take up too much time of it, but he starts talking about the dollar amounts that he has seen swindled from people who do buy this shit. And in some cases, it crosses over into hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Sometimes millions. Look, Hamhead gifted 10 Luigi Greenberg memberships. Thank you.
Woohoo, Hamhead.
So much, Hamhead.
Dick.
You got to do the hands.
I did. You missed it.
Oh, I missed it. Hamhead is awesome.
He is
Very
He's a reverend,
supportive.
I believe. Reverend Hamhead on Twitter.
Big Daddy Doodoo.
Big Daddy Doodoo's here?
No, I got the membership. Sorry. The Real Fake Talk Show. The King of Idaho. Beast Mode. Lazy 420, Deadful gifted a membership, Dr. Omega, Thomas Weeks, Bubble Popper 24, Sunday Jenna.
Yay, Jenna.
Thank you
Looking
so
forward
much.
to seeing you at Dabble House.
I appreciate it. And now let's hold on here. Let's continue. And you know what's coming.
I think it's so great, the devotion that you give to like eating 3 plates of beans in front of a microphone just to do this.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And then my microphone stinks.
I could almost taste that through the microphone and the oh no, gross.
Is your stomach okay? Are you okay, man?
That is exactly what Hamhead wants, and he gets it. And also, let's see here.
My tummy hurts.
What a beautiful butterfly, Corndiff.
Another Gummi Chainsaw masterpiece. And oh wait, I didn't play this for the super chat. Oh, let's see here.
You are gay.
Thank you for the super chat.
So different.
Thanks so much, Hamhead. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Yes. Got pink eye from my own mic.
That bear gave me pink eye.
That's right.
All right, so we're finishing up here.
There, and they say,
with,
put
Mr.
the egg in the
Nygaard.
bag or put the egg in the cloth. The person puts it in. They say, oh, it won't break. It won't break. And they're like trying to hit it. And you know an egg should break. So now they're like being really dramatic, you know. And then they pull it out. And they hit it, and all of a sudden blood comes flying out, or a snake is there. They say, oh, this is the curse that manifested itself. It came, this is the evil. And now, once they get over that hurdle, now we start to go on and on and on, where we need to do more work. We need more money.
So I think we all get that. It's a scam. It's a long con. It's a long-term scam, but it starts with the reading. It starts with the contacting the dead. It starts with being that conduit to the spirit world. So let's talk about that. So what is hot reading? And a lot of this is coming from one specific channel called Holy Kool-Aid. I really like this guy. He really breaks down. He breaks stuff down really well. I believe DJ Electra last time we had talked about psychics. You had mentioned, why am I blanking on the guy's name? The real twink guy who does the celebrity readings.
Oh
Twink?
yeah, shit. What's his name?
Adam Bush.
So, Luigi's just put twink into your browser and press
Tyler. Is it Tyler Henry?
Again?
Tyler Henry, right?
All you have to do is put T in, it'll come up. It's your favorite T.
I really don't remember his name, but I think that
Tyler
is it.
Henry, yeah.
Yes, but I told you that I know how he's doing this stuff, and this is it. This is it. He's a hot reader. This is exactly how he is doing his stuff, and it's pretty gross. But yeah,
Electra's
this
a
is
hot
gonna,
bleeder.
What's
Grosser
that?
than the smell of your microphone?
I think this is going to do a good job of explaining how it works.
Hot reading, in which they do research prior to preying on their victim. The first and most
Yeah.
obvious method of gathering information is internet
voice.
research.
C'est niet? Oui, oui, bien. Je hebt een vriendin, Julie de Ja. Voor een huis dat van eigenaar gaat veranderen. 795.000 euro. Ja, eigenlijk.
Oh my god. Oh man. Dat is, ik weet niet hoe eng.
So I don't really know the full context of this. I tried looking it up, but it was someone who had pulled off a fake psychic stunt and then just revealed that it was all fake. It's obviously in Europe, and just showing people basically to be aware of people who are doing this.
Most people don't realize just how much information about them is publicly available on the web. When people buy tickets online to psychic shows, at bare minimum they enter their full name, billing info, and email address. You may be thinking that a spineless con artist can plug that info into a people search site or a private investigator software package to glean public records, including a person's address, phone number, marital status,
I hate
criminal
this
background,
guy's
and more.
voice, dude.
But they don't even...
The voice is a little rough, but the information's good.
He needs to do the ninny pon or something.
He needs to get his balls out of his ass.
He sounds like Frog. Sounds like Frog, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say he sounds like Frog, but Jenna's here, and I was going to be nice. Sorry, Jenna, I have no control
In a
over
packed
these
out
people.
audience, there are bound to be at least a few dozen people with no Facebook privacy settings set. Sites like Ancestry.com reveal the names of relatives as well as family death records.
If he
and
says
tools like Google Maps
so.
and Street View show cross streets, neighborhood
Sounds like
info,
Mark
and even
Zuckerberg to me. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I can hear that too. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually tried to change the voice a few times, but I couldn't get it right. Like I tried to do like these voice masks over
Don't
it.
do that. Don't do that.
One time I was part of the show. Hopefully Corndiff will remember this. Part of the show was having to read a report. It was a report that was written by a skeptic, and I was like, how do I make this interesting? So I created a Mr. T voice, and I had Mr. T read it. So I was like, it's like maybe Mr. T could read all this, but then it was just way too much work.
I pity the
details
fool.
about what the person's house looks like. Knowing this, is it really that impressive when a psychic says that they're seeing a red door? It's even less impressive when a psychic does a reading of any kind of celebrity figure whose information is publicly accessible all over the web.
I'd known there was plenty of information.
So that's the interesting thing. His show is focused on on celebrities.
Yeah.
The few people in the world who have probably every aspect of their life on the internet in a searchable form.
All the information you could want is a mouse click away.
Yeah. So there's that.
Information regarding my past readily available with a cursory internet search, including an extensive interview I'd given to a website 2 years before.
And would you know Susan?
Yes.
Was Susan your mother?
Yes.
How interesting. You're part of two families.
If you guys don't know this guy, James Von Prague.
Yeah, I do.
Oh God, he is a piece of work.
Does he sell pillows? He looks
Legendary.
like he sells pillows.
He totally looks like that guy. But what's really funny is
he looks like Webster's dad.
Yes,
That's the worst mustache ever.
100%
Alex
Webster's
Karras.
dad. Mongo from
Mongo,
yeah, Blazing Saddles. But he is terrible. We're gonna actually visit one of his readings where he failed miserably a little later. But also, what's interesting is when doing my research on all of these people, found out he is a stage musical actor. Do with that what you will. Who
Still
apparently
looking for a good lady is what you're saying.
Yes, he just hasn't found the right lady, and supposedly was out of work.
Well, neither have I. What are you saying, man?
Was out of work as a stage musical actor, and stumbled into being a psychic as a way to supplement his income, and until the next musical rolled around, and then decided to stick with it. I just find that funny. I find that a funny story.
When you get the calling, you get the calling.
One day I'm going to give it all up to be a stage musical actor.
Give
What is he saying to me? That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Are you adopted?
Yes. But I wasn't prepared for what happened next.
Do you know the name of L.E.? Leonard or Leon, or Leo, L-E-O something?
Yes.
Leo.
Leo was the name of my adoptive mother's longtime companion, whom I loved as a stepfather for almost 25 years. Leo died suddenly in 2009, until I looked again upon my return home, and there it was, a reference to his passing, able to be exploited along with all the rest.
But not all research is done over the web. Some shows have information packets for audience members to fill out before the show.
An information packet to fill out before you have a psychic read for you to tell you the stuff that's in the information packet.
Asking attendees who they wish to connect with. This is a pre-internet trick that goes back to the days of faith healers like Peter Popoff, only he called them prayer cards.
To his followers, Popoff seemed to have divine powers. He also knew the personal details of their lives. The radio scanner we brought to the hall picked up a decidedly...
Now, I have to say, of all of the scammers that we talk about and read, this guy actually impresses me to some extent because he was so incredibly ballsy. Like, I would not have had the courage to do what he did, which was name out specific names and tell them their addresses and say that God told him.
The worldly source.
Hello, Petey. Can you hear me?
I remember this.
Popoff was being prompted by his wife through a wireless earpiece. She'd
Wait,
gotten
did
her
you ever-
information from prayer.
Did you ever see Fletch 2?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is reference to that.
Oh yeah. When he tells the guy to show him his hemorrhoids.
The Steve Martin movie Leap of Faith has a scene where they have this going on.
Yes,
too.
Leap of Faith is a great movie. I think it was supposed to be like, I think it was right in like within a year or two after this, I think.
Cards filled out by the faithful before the show began.
She wants to get rid of the walker.
You want to get rid of this walker, sister?
She lives at 1627 10th Street.
1627 10th Street?
That right there is so
Cox.
ballsy. Like, even for a crook, I'm like, dude, you got to make this believable for people to, you have to bring it down a notch. And he was like, nope, I'm going all out. I mean, that is ballsy, but that's what gets you caught.
Doesn't he push her back and like or something?
It's pretty gross.
That's right. She has
I don't know if it's this one, but several others.
Burning this arthritis!
Since Popoff's days, earpieces have gotten smaller, cheaper, and more commonplace, and Popoff is far from the only person claiming to have otherworldly information sources who's been caught wearing an earpiece.
A member of the audience claimed they heard a man backstage feeding Sally information in secret.
A fan who was sitting in the back row of the Grand Canal Theatre in Dublin during one of Psychic Sally's shows told a radio station that she could hear a man's voice through an open window behind her, claiming that everything he said the psychic was saying 10 seconds later. Well, she says that her headset is purely a microphone. She does not receive. That's what she
the
said.
headset with the microphone is purely a microphone, and she can't get messages from that, but she hasn't denied having a separate earpiece, which is on the other side. If you have a look at her biopic, it's called The Psychic Life of Sally Morgan. There's a shot of her walking off stage, taking off the microphone and a separate earpiece, which she leaves dangling. It's an earpiece.
Now this explains how
By the way, James Randi was directly responsible for getting that footage of Popov with the radio audio in there. Did you know that?
Staring at her ass, gotta be honest.
Oh dear, we lost Luigi.
Hit like.
Hit that like button.
Hey, Weege, where you at, man?
Shut up. Sorry. Fuck, motherfucker. Damn
Were
it.
you muted?
No, you were muted.
The world was muted. I was fine.
But you would think that somebody in that psychic's camp would have noticed that, like, before that was published in a documentary, like, hey, they saw your earpiece.
Yeah.
But I guess
See the size of that ass, though, Luigi.
That's a big ass, man.
What's funny though is I think that hubris plays a big part of this. I'm starting to learn, just overconfidence in one's skills. Keep that in mind as we move forward, because that's a weird thing. And I have something in here specifically for you, Looney, because I saw this and it's coming up here soon.
Is it a Latin vagina?
You're going to be shocked. It is. It is a Latin vagina.
Psychics can get amazingly accurate hits on their own turf, but how do they pull off this same feat on other people's shows? Well,
yes,
it's pretty
Woody from Syracuse, that is.
Easy to rig the reading by planting a few of your own people in the
We
audience
need to
of a
have
show that
Woody
you'll
on the
be
show,
on,
by
which
the way.
Rosemary Altia's agent got caught doing by Penn and Teller in an episode of Bullshit.
Now, pay attention to this one. This one is super interesting.
I know that she took her own life.
How did she know it was a suicide? I knew there had to be some link. A suicide is not something you want to be wrong about.
Joni spoke with Rosemary about the possibility of our being here.
And who's Joni?
Joni is Rosemary's literary agent.
That's right. She works for Rosemary. Joni asked us if she could bring people to the taping. Suspecting a setup, we agreed.
Turns out, that they are her literary agent's best friends. So, that took the air out of that one.
It's raining.
Bullshit.
Well, how about the self-proclaimed psychic Joe Power? When Joe's own agent supplied a client named Wanda, Joe got hit after amazing hit. But on further investigation by magician Darren Brown, it turned out that
Joe has always said he did not know.
Look at that scar on his nose. I couldn't take my eyes off of that scar, and I kept thinking to myself, there's a story for that scar.
And it
Well,
kind
it
of
looks like half his nose got ripped off.
So
it looks like it continues up to the forehead too a little bit.
Here's my thought, and I don't know this. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. This guy had a nose ring, and then got into a fight, and it got ripped out.
I could see that, yeah.
Possibly.
I just couldn't take my eyes off that scar. It's like there's a story behind that scar.
Like I can definitely see wanting to do that to him.
Yes.
You didn't notice he's wearing a tie without a dress shirt?
That didn't seem unusual to me. I'm surprised he has a
fashion choice.
I'm surprised he has a shirt on at all.
Too. That's a little odd. Anyone do that hairline.
So listen to this. I interrupted at the wrong spot, but here.
Of her details. But what I've discovered is that Vonda's next door neighbor is in fact Joe's sister.
And even if cheaters...
So he kept saying he had no connections and that this was all done through his psychic abilities, and some people just did a little bit of digging. Amazing.
It's a small town. It's a small town thing. You live next to small town.
Yeah. We're not going to focus so much on hot reading because that one's pretty simple and it's pretty direct, and there's really not much to really focus on because it's just direct lying and deception. So cold reading is really where we're going to get into some of the more interesting stuff, and that is right around the corner here.
I got to say, if I'm
the deck by rigging
hold on
the...
one second,
I'm sorry.
Luigi. If
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to pick, I want hot reading because it's sort of like getting a rundown what's on the dark web about you. You know what I'm saying? You at least get some information out of that.
I could
cold reading.
I could see that, like listening to somebody. So there was actually a clip. There was one clip that I cut it just because the package was just running a little too long, where this one British, I don't really know what his role was. I think he was hosting a TV show, and he invited 3 psychics to go to a chocolate factory that had been abandoned, or it was a chocolate factory around the turn of the century. And he said he wanted these 3 to get readings. And what he did was, a month before reaching out to them, he created a website that gave the history of this chocolate factory and laid it out but it was all fake. The fake history, but it was disguised as if it was real and legitimate and associated with this building. All 3 of them told the exact same reading in which they were channeling a spirit of this guy named Bill. This was a chocolate factory and like all these other characteristics. And at the end, he just said, "It's obvious that you looked at at the website because I made all of that up." And one of them totally caves and goes, "Yeah, I can't deny it. You're right. I did."
Did any of them say something like, "Well, you put that story out into the ether and we picked up on that"? And
one of not quite, but the feet dragging into the ground thing, he really milked it. Like he told one of them, he's like, "Do you think you could channel their voice and their personality?" And one of them's like, "Yeah, I think I can," and starts going, "I am Bill." and then finally when he reveals it to her, she goes, "I didn't think this was really a chocolate factory." And he goes, "Hey, you know what? That was the one thing that is true." It was just a little long. But anyway, to your point, was that's where my brain went after hearing that was, wow, I would think of this as educational of what a criminal could find about me, on the internet, if one were so inclined. All right, finishing up here on hot reading, then we're going to get to cold reading.
The audience, they often sift the crowd for information prior to the start of a show.
It's a mother-son connection here. I feel I got your mother here trying to communicate with you, okay?
Yes. How'd she know that this poor guy's mother was going to come through?
If we look at the tape again, the first thing she did when she arrived was drift right over to the people who she knew were going to be in the audience. So the information gathering starts immediately.
Who do you want to connect with?
My mother.
Who do you want to connect with?
My mother. My mother. My mother.
Your mother?
How amazing is that? How amazing is it that the simple explanation of asking is what leads someone to believe this by saying, who do you want to connect with? And if they are the ones that give that connection, that dead person connection they want to connect with, they still believe that the psychic is pulling this in some supernatural fashion, as opposed to them feeding the answer. That blows my mind. I mean, that is out there. This was
the episode, by the way, that bullshit that, you know, like I said, I grew up thinking, okay, they're stupid. This was what made me realize psychics could very well be dangerous.
I mean, irresponsibly dangerous, deceptive, cruel. Yeah. Okay. Easy Money, formerly MIA. I've been in a wheelchair for 47 years. My sister went to a reading where the woman said my disease would be cured in a year. She flew home crying to tell me that was 30. I'm still. That is a horrific story, and that hits me hard. I am so sorry, and that is disgusting. That is repugnant behavior. And these people are criminals. I mean, they should be punished for this. That is a horrible story. I'm so sorry to hear that, Easy Money. It's weird to cap that off with
Well,
Easy
that's
Money.
why I get mad, you know, when like it's people that you know, they go, oh, I think I'm a psychic, or they work as psychics, and it's like, that's when you get mad. It's like, it's not cool, dude. It's not.
You're playing with people's lives, and
their expectations, and
it's terrible. It's disgusting. It is disgusting behavior. And these, we said it for the Harry Houdini episode, in that this is a business that is based on monetizing human suffering. This is exactly what it is. People who are preying on weak, uneducated, vulnerable people.
I've heard the argument that, you know, sometimes people just need to feel and need the release, and they need to go through it. And it's like, well, if that's your attitude, there would be some point where you referred to this, well, we're going to fantasize about talking to your mother or talking to this, but there's no point where they acknowledge that it's just something to do to feel a release or to feel better.
Yeah.
You know,
or that it's wrong. I mean, it is morally wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it wrong, is that they never let up.
I don't know how much it is weak or ignorant versus they're preying on people that are just very hopeful. They're going through something and they want something so bad that they're willing to.
That's an element of it. That is an element to it.
And part of what's sinister about it too is the fact that, you know, if it's a carnival barker or something like that, a fortune teller booth or whatever, you have to do a bit of work to find your mark. But with this, these people come to you. They, you know, it's like that joke about Chris Rock said about, you know, drug dealers don't sell drugs, they offer drugs. Drugs sell themselves. This shit sells itself.
This makes me.
For
go ahead. I'm
shits and
sorry.
giggles, take the opposite side here and just say, these people are providing a need to sad and morose people who then can use that moment in their life, even though it was fake, to create a transition and start living again. So in the end, they could actually provide a service for those people. So I don't know. I don't really. I'm just saying, there's a possibility. There is some.
As long as those people are able to find meaning out of the words that they were told, yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Hey, Weege.
And they're the suckers who went searching for it, so I feel sorry for none of them. This is like when you see a white trash couple walk into a restaurant, and you're like, nope, don't feel sorry for either of them. I don't feel sorry for either of these people.
I feel sorry for us for having to share the restaurant with them.
I see what you're saying, and I think that
sensible people lose their parents and write songs and cry. They don't go seek a psychic. What are you doing?
That's and that's fair enough. I guess it comes down to the morality of truth and deception. Taking a fee for giving that emotional lie is really where the morality.
Paying for the emotional lie is also bad.
But Casey, like the thing is,
I can't argue with that.
to your point though, Casey, I think you're right. If there's some point where, like I said, they say, look, this isn't guaranteed. This isn't, this isn't a science. I can't say for sure whether this is happening. They never do any of that. It's always direct line of communication to your deceased and your loved ones, and that's the sinister part of it.
Yeah, that's what those people are looking for. They're not looking for a science equation to get to grandma. They're looking for some bullshit so they can just feel better. This is about feeling. This is not about brain.
This is really one of the few times where I'm really like I'm kind of stuck, where I'm a little speechless, where I'm like, if all I can do is tell people what's happening, and I'm never going to criticize someone for spending their own money with their own education.
I'll tell a personal story about.
But hold on.
This.
But when somebody is doing that, they're adults. They're They're
adults, but that doesn't mean that it's not dangerous. Because thing is,
but I'm saying from Casey's point of saying that they are willingly and willfully doing that. Well, that's their business at some point. That
if they know that that's what they're doing, like if you get a prostitute to feel better, that's one thing. But she's not your girlfriend.
Right. Yeah.
There's no point where you're like,
you don't think some of those guys don't think those girls are their girlfriends?
That's funny.
They absolutely think those girls are their girlfriends.
I made that exact analogy.
But you don't feel sorry for those guys because they know what the fuck is up.
And you shouldn't feel sorry for the people with the dead person because
everyone should do their due diligence, no matter which one of those scenarios.
So when you go through the stages of grief, the last one in the stages of grief is what? Do we know that is?
Acceptance.
Acceptance, correct. So my mother died. My mother died of cancer, and I did not move on. I didn't accept it for many, many years. And that's because when she died, I had a dream where I got to move on and I talked to her and everything like that. And rather than learn, you got to move on and everything like that, I was like, wait a minute. I can have dreams where I talk to my mother. And then I started learning about lucid dreaming. And then I started, having dreams where I talk to her. And for like 10 years, I didn't move on because I can just talk to my mother. She's not dead. Nothing's really changed. That's fucking dangerous.
It is. Were you a kid at the time?
Yeah.
No, I was a grown man. That's the worst part about it. She died when I was 18.
Oh. Well,
losing parents can absolutely warp your reality. I understand that. But what you're saying was you had a connection with something larger than yourself, right? And you wanted to explore that. You thought at the time. I'm not saying it was.
You believed you did.
And so in the moment, you're actually like, oh, well, this might be something bigger than me. When someone comes to you with that, you know immediately that you're not going to touch God. You're not going to find the infinite. You're not going to reach any sort of conclusion. You're just looking to get through the day. That's some bullshit.
That to me just seems like a coping mechanism that got you through.
But coping only gets you so far. It took me 10 years because I got used to sucking on my thumb. Cigarette smoking is coping. But, 20 years of cigarette smoking killed my mom.
Meth or something, I mean, you may have not made it those 10 years if you didn't find a healthy way to cope.
I actually like Corndiff's phrasing about due diligence. I think that's a really good way of saying it. You do your due diligence, then there's really not an issue of morality if you know what you're doing and what you're getting into.
You're building infrastructure after something like that. Losing someone that you love like that is like building a pyramid. You just start one day and then 10 years later it's done.
But the cope,
oh shit, it's done. Yeah.
But the cope that you're talking about, the cope wasn't the 10 years of having lucid dreams where I'm talking to her still. The cope was the initial dream that, had the whole thing. But after that, I just started getting used to the salve of that first dream and trying to recreate that. And I stayed in one place mentally. Yeah. I didn't grow. I didn't move on.
Right. Yeah. You buy more into the false reality than actual reality.
Correct.
That's dangerous.
Vulnerability.
That's dangerous. Yeah. But it feels better.
Folks, we have always said this is an educational show.
We never. I would never say that.
It's a mother-son connection here. I feel I got your mother here trying to communicate with you, okay?
Yes.
Rosemary's hardly the only one. The Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo, requested 45 minutes alone and without cameras with Howard Stern's audience as a prerequisite to going on his show.
I don't remember that.
I don't either. I was just thinking, I was like, when did that happen?
So she said, so we all know the story behind this. Most of us here do anyway. I'm sorry. I guess you, Trevor, and UKC, and I know that this all came from a staff member who was friends with Teresa Caputo's husband, Sal, and he was trying his best to get her on the show, and Howard kept saying, no, I don't want it. Howard is a firm skeptic also. So he starts bending a little bit and saying, okay, pitch me on it. And Sal tells him, okay, so what she needs is 45 minutes prior to coming on the air to spend with audience members.
Will spoke to her because we were thinking about having her on at one point. The first thing is we can't just bring people in. You know what I'm saying?
For her to read, you mean?
Yeah, we can't bring people in for her to read.
Rules.
Well, yeah, because you know what? You pick up different vibes from different people. And she absolutely needed 45 minutes alone, completely alone, no cameras with the people. Yeah.
Sal, we're not interested in leaving people alone with the Long Island Psychic for 45 minutes. Right. It's never going to happen, and you should give up on it.
Here are some of the...
Is for entertainment, or is it...
People to accuse...
Damn it.
By rigging...
I messed it up. All right.
Audience.
5 minutes. Right. It's never going to happen, and you should give up on it.
Here are some of the same psychics you just saw absolutely bombing later on in the...
So, just imagine, let's say the great Luigi is a psychic, and I want to do a reading on people, but my requirement is that I have to spend 45 minutes with them in a closed room prior to doing my demonstration on the air of supernatural abilities. Doesn't that just in itself negate everything?
Seems a bit much.
Seems a bit much. The great...
Maybe she's doing a Bonnie Blue situation in that room. You never know what's going on in that room, is what I'm saying.
I don't know what that means.
She's underneath.
Bonnie Blue, banged on 1,000 guys.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't know.
I was the 1,001th. She was like, "No, sorry, dude."
You were last in line. That's
291. The reason she stopped at 1,000 is what you're saying.
Yeah, she was like, "I'm gonna go call my mom
and cry
and not move on."
The great Luigina. It's the great Luigina.
Latin vagina.
Luigina.
Smash.
Great gets used so often.
I would.
Right?
What'd you say?
Nothing. Moving on.
I want to pull those pigtails as I come.
Same exact show when asked to give a spontaneous reading.
I'm seeing a man who is standing by your side, quite broad set, big, very black. He tells me he had a massive heart attack prior to his passing. He just went bang just like that. And he refers to you as his boy.
Keep listening.
Big, black, massive heart on.
You?
Yeah. Or there was some type of split up going back quite a while.
No.
Okay, why did you mention 17 years ago then? Is the Jimmy or James connected?
No.
She's saying yes on grandfather's side?
No.
But I have a man who's standing between us. Passed with cancer, was very, very sick before he died. You understand what I'm saying, don't you?
I understand.
Okay.
But I don't know who that could be.
Okay, well, he's just...
And when we asked him to read our producer on the spot, that didn't go so well.
How amazing is that?
He's making twink noises.
Remember, musical theater.
I'm not gonna be able to give you a clear quality thing. So.
Do you have any poppers?
But what happens when these same psychics are asked to do a spontaneous reading on someone without being able to perform prior research? Well, they have to resort to cold reading.
So, cold reading, no research, all based on cues from your facial expressions, your body movements, and this little intro here just for you, Mr. Trevor.
Yay. This is going to be bad. What is cold reading?
You know, I'm a magician, and I got interested in mind reading and fortune telling, fake fortune telling, you know? And I got to know a lot of old fakes who had retired as millionaires, you know? And they told me their secrets, how you do it. There are things that are called cold readings.
Oh, what's that?
A cold reading is you warm up the sucker by telling him things that he says, how could he ever know that, you see? You say, you know, between the ages of 13 and 15, you had a great change came in your life. But that happens in everybody's life. But he says, he came in and told me things I already see. You've got a scar on your knee. Everybody fell down and has a scar on their knee. Those are cold readings, you see?
I have a scar on my neck.
Sure
How
you
did
do.
you know that?
Yeah, you see? Just something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
Well, now, the point about this is that after they're warmed up, they're amazed by this knee bit and the rest of it. They start telling you.
Cold reading, often seen as a mysterious skill in the realm of mentalism,
But do you
psychology,
see,
and social manipulation.
just as an aside, do you see why he's my fucking hero?
Oh, he's,
I mean,
he's a lot of
Jesus.
people's heroes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Relation is the
Even
art
if
of
you don't like
extracting
his films.
personal details from people without them realizing. Cold reading is a set of techniques used to give the impression of knowing intimate details about a person without any prior knowledge of them.
Now,
Unlike
we've never
hot
met
reading,
before,
where
have we?
information about the subject is gathered beforehand, cold reading relies on interpreting behavioral cues, visual observations, and leading questions to create the illusion of a personal connection.
All right, folks. Now here it is.
So that's it.
I am sorry to do this to you, but this is going to come in handy for how we're going to be doing the rest of the show and the game at the end. So you might want to take some notes. But we are now going to delve deep into each, well, not each. There's actually a few that aren't covered here. The most prevalent techniques to do a cold read. What's that?
Prevalent.
Prelevant.
Prelevant. Is that what he said? Prelevant?
He said prelevant. Yeah.
He said retard.
We're gonna talk about the most popular ones, and then we're going to identify them with Miss Caputo and Mr. Von Prague, and also some John Edwards, and we're gonna learn how to identify psychics' deceptive language, so that no one is ever taken advantage of again. Corndiff, did you get the bingo cards I sent you? I didn't even think to ask.
I did not.
I emailed them to you.
Okay.
So we're going to play a game a little bit later, and just so that it's completely random, I sent everybody 4 bingo cards, and you can pick whichever ones you want to use for 3 rounds of Name That Grift. So here we go. First off, the first thing you want to do is probability. Understanding probability. This is, you're going to throw a wide net out and then start shrinking it. Now, the first thing is, like I said earlier, based on our ages, based on what I can see and what I know of you guys, I would say, hey, has somebody close to you died? And the M and the J thing. Here we go.
Someone close to me died, and it was Michael Jackson.
Okay. I can't believe you just said that. That was something else that got cut from this show. There was actually,
oh my God.
There was actually a famous, very, very widely watched program on the BBC of a guy who channeled Michael Jackson's ghost. And it is horrifically cringe. It is so
Did you see that?
awful.
There was also, like, right after he died, there was supposedly footage of him, ghostly footage of him on the news. They had a ABC or something was like going around Neverland Ranch, and like apparently there was yeah, and of course it's the same thing we always see. It's the glitchy video that like doesn't follow properly. And is that Michael? No, it isn't. Shut up.
Sure, why not?
Sure, it's Michael. It's a magic, whatever.
I'm on my second drink now. How's everybody else doing?
Here's to you, Doc.
Good.
How How do they get a hit with something like, I'm feeling a father figure who died of cancer with a J name like James connected? If you're going to make a guess as a psychic, and let's face it, all
that is a part of the game.
All cold reading is a series of questions, guesses, general statements, and inferences based on observation. You're going to want those guesses to be high probability, without people realizing that you're playing the odds. Here's a great example. James Van Prague has just turned his back and had the show host give some ribbons to a random person in the audience for him to blindly read by holding a matching pair of ribbons.
Is this a female that is holding these? Yes.
No shit, Sherlock. You're in a room packed with women.
That 100% sounded like Frog, didn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 dudes in the entire audience, but most psychics are more discreet than this. If I claim to be a psychic and guess that someone in a crowd knows a John Smith, nobody would be impressed. But did you know that James, not John, is the most common guy's name in the US?
Who is James? Who has the Jim in that family? Or the James?
Is the Jimmy or James connected?
For girls, the most common name is Mary.
The name of either Mary, Margaret.
Is there a Mary person, like a Marie, a Mary? Got a connection to Mary. I'm getting Marie, Mary, Maria.
And who is the MR name? Mark, Mary, Marie?
While people are more impressed when a psychic guesses an exact name, more often than not, psychics just guess an initial.
I feel he's like a J. He's also showing me a J.
Why can't I feel he's a J can be interpreted a few different ways.
They just talk. Why does it got to be, there's a J name, there's a this?
Well, because even when guessing the most common guy's name in America, these vultures still get misses.
No. Is he J-A or J-U? Or is he not John or J? I don't know the name. Jerry, Jeffrey,
Jez.
Jez. Okay, close enough. I don't know that I get that.
Close enough. Because or the James.
If they
close enough, that's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. The ghosts have let you down.
They go from James to a J-sounding name, then they can radically increase their odds. But sometimes even that fails.
Or J.
Is it J sounding?
Or G, it could be G. Is there
sister Jerry?
Bingo. Throw in a J.
So not only does it have to be precise, which of course it wasn't in the first place, you're actually even letting it be less precise by saying, okay, J, well, what about something that sounds like J, like George? Yeah. And you find the right person who has the confirmation bias that's just waiting to confirm it, and you get a hit.
Sounding G name like George, Gerald, etc., and they even further increase their odds.
They tell me to talk about the J or G name like Jack or James. They tell me to talk about the J or G connection. There's a J or G name that they want me to highlight.
Is there a J or G in that name, like Marjorie?
Is that where like the J or G like George or Jerry comes up? Where's the J or G name? Are you the J or G sounding name like Janie or Joni? Who is the J name?
The J or G.
Giovanni, but we called him Johnny.
Jim? Judith?
My name's Jade.
Because it would be too time-consuming to examine every name in America, let's look at the top 200 names in the US over the last 100 years according to the Social Security Administration. 38 of the top 200 names in America start with J or G. That
I don't even know where to go from there. It's like I feel like it could end there by saying that you're connected to some sort of supernatural force, but it's completely able to be recreated with just probability and natural logical means.
19%. To keep the math simple, we'll say 1 in 5. That doesn't seem like that high of a number, but think of it this way.
That's great, Dang Lizard. Yes. It's like these AI that can never get writing quite right. Ghosts can't spell names that well. That's a very good observation.
Here's an example of a pretty small family tree. Only counting close relatives like grandparents, parents, uncles, aunts, siblings, nephews, nieces, and cousins, there are already 20 people here. If you're
Easy money, yes. South Park's episode on cold readings was so perfect. And oddly enough, hard to find good quality video of it.
It's not on the website?
I couldn't find it, but also I couldn't rip it. Some of them are like coded where you can't rip it.
In future, when you need an animated piece of TV or whatever, call me.
So you're going to talk about the screen capture. They have stuff that's coded for that too. I can't get that either.
I know. Just we'll talk about it later. I got you, man. It's fine.
But yes, Stan's explanation of cold reading is so well done. We'll play it, I guess, later.
married, you can double that number with in-laws. But I don't want people to accuse me of exaggerating, so I'll lowball the estimate. Now take that 1 in 5 statistic. Odds are that about 4 people in this family of 20 will have a J or a G name. Assuming that no one in the audience is married or has a massive family, then in an audience of about 250 people, there will be approximately 1,000 J or G name family members represented. Now most people who go to these types of readings go to connect with one or multiple lost families.
That is correct.
Family members, meaning that there's probably at least 250 deceased people represented by this audience. If 1 in 5 of those 250 have J or G names, then that's 50 deceased people with J or G names represented in an audience this size. And remember, that's on the low end, assuming everyone has a small family and isn't married. But most people in these audiences are older, probably have larger families, and have probably married at least once, so that number is almost definitely much higher. Now, the leading causes of death in the US are heart disease and cancer by a long shot, usually targeting the middle-aged or elderly. In a room full of adults, it's pretty high odds that someone has lost a father to one of these causes.
And so this is where it gets even darker and more grotesque. And that while I was doing research, I realized how right on this guy was. It's usually right after guessing the name, the very next thing is who has someone who has lost someone from cancer or heart disease. I mean, like clockwork. It is lettered name, cancer, heart disease. I mean, it's...
Also, Luigi, I figured it out. This talkover guy sounds like Tom Green and Freddy Got Fingered when he's voice-overing the cartoons. Like, specifically, it sounds exactly like that. I don't know why. It's a deep cut. But,
Yeah.
No, I get it. I'm listening to it now, and I think you're right. Where he's like,
You want him to say, "Daddy, do you want some sausage?"
Yeah.
Daddy, do you want some
There's
sausage?
some zebras involved or something. Yeah, there's like the...
Zebra. I'm a zebra.
Problem.
But just to be safe, the psychic can increase their odds further by guessing a father figure, which includes fathers, uncles,
And I've heard that one too. That's crazy. So now you're increasing your odds by saying who had a father die. Wait, not just a father figure, which could mean anything.
Yeah.
I'm
Coach,
KC's father
a good
figure.
teacher, a priest.
Yeah.
George
Bad
Michael
priest.
definitely had an opinion what a father figure was.
Yes. Father figure. Who would have
Man
guessed
meat.
that had such a different meaning?
grandfathers, fathers-in-law, adopted fathers, or just a fatherly friend.
I feel like there's a father figure reference that they want me to bring through, but that to me would be like father, uncle, grandfather.
First thing I have a man who
I
has a
have a
father
father
figure that comes to
figure.
me,
It's
and
my
I
gut.
gotta feel like I'm over here.
Okay, Dylan, this is a fantastic point. This is an amazing point. If you had a psychic who was able to meet someone cold and then say that they know someone who had an extraordinary demise and then name it, you might make a believer out of me. I mean, that would convince me. Who here had someone who had a sister who died from a toxic waste spill?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's good.
Who here had a grandma whose asshole exploded after ordering the wrong thing from Taco Bell?
Well, that was my grandmother.
Who has crossed over? That's
I
maybe
know,
husband,
deep
brother,
cut.
cousin, a friend. Is your dad passed?
No,
Who's the father figure who's passed?
my grandfather.
Your grandfather, and he must have been like a dad figure for you, and in some respects,
It feels more like a father in the spirit world.
I don't know if your dad's passed, but in that back section, I've got an older male who's coming through back there. But it's an older male energy. That's maybe like father,
Older male energy.
uncle, grandfather. Okay, is there a father figure that's passed? Older male figure that's passed, that would be like a father figure.
Now, if you throw it all together, you have a deceased father figure who died of cancer, and there's a J or a G connected. Notice, to increase their odds even higher, they don't say that the person who passed had a J or G name. They just say a J or G name is connected to the deceased.
They're telling me to talk about the J or G connection.
As in, they're related to someone with a J or G name, which remember...
So it doesn't even have to be the person you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to hear Teresa Caputo actually
Talk about, I mean,
lay a
casting
bomb
a
that's
wide
really
net.
weird. Yeah.
It's casting a wide net.
is just about everybody. Now, these are the same exact types of tricks used by mentalists.
When you take a look at a lot of the mediums out there, I know exactly what those mediums are doing, and I think many of them are scum. I think they're taking advantage of people in a very vulnerable moment.
And there is nothing supernatural about rigging the odds in your favor, making a hit a statistical inevitability. It's easy to roll sixes every time when you play with loaded dice, and it's easy to fool vulnerable and grieving audience members when they're too desperate to realize you've stacked the deck. But once they get these hits, they narrow in on one person.
Okay.
Who here has killed their engineers for trying to direct a simple fucking frozen peas commercial?
I don't do as good of a Orson, but if I did, I would probably say, who made me audition for the role?
Yeah, that kills me. It kills me they made him audition.
This one is called Golden Rule. I don't really know where this name came up with, but I'm actually going to instead call this the improv rule. You'll see why. It is completely based on yes and no but.
Now the first technique I'll share is the golden rule of cold reading, which is yes and no but. This means if your prediction or guess is correct, or even just a maybe, simply say end or just keep going and add on.
So it's improv. I mean, that is literally improv. It's just keep going, keep moving forward.
But if your prediction misses, say but and then give an explanation or just make another guess. For example, I can tell you're an independent person. Definitely. And based on our conversation, I can tell that you like to lead more than follow. I guess. Sometimes. Yes, and I have a feeling that you're more confident than most people. Not really? Ah, but I'm sure you can be when you're doing an activity that you love to do. You're right.
Okay, we got that.
How do you know?
Now you know. All right, vanishing negatives.
Technique number 2 is vanishing negatives. Learn this technique and you will never ever be wrong again when asking a question that prompts a yes or no response. To do this, simply reformat your question to include a negative word like not or don't. And if you get the question right, then simply say something like, yeah, that's what I thought. And if you get it wrong, simply say, no, I didn't think so. Here's an example. Instead of asking, do you work for yourself? Say, you don't work for yourself, do you? No, I don't. No, I didn't think so. Because you don't seem to be cut out to be one of those flashy, egocentric entrepreneurs with all that stress and the hassle. Most of them never get anywhere anyways. Now for the other scenario. You don't work for yourself, do you? Yes, I do actually. Have done for a while. Yeah, that's what I thought. I can tell you're not cut out to be just another 9-to-5 wage slave. That could never be truly fulfilling for someone like you. You have too much drive and too many good ideas of your own.
All right, we get that one? The vanishing negative, how you ask a question, how they respond, and it gives you basically a back door to just say, yeah, I was right about that. It's ultimately, gaslighting.
What about this back door?
I saw a video like this when I was a car salesman many
Oh,
eons
really?
ago.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's actually very interesting. I'll bet there's a lot of shit that it crosses over and is compatible. This one here is called...
Yeah,
Go
the
ahead.
questions like that is how you would trap people into unpayable fucking financing. You have a good relationship with your bank, don't you? Oh, no, they're terrible. Yeah, that's what I thought. They're awful. I mean, it was just that exact same stuff.
Man, that. Wow. I'm going to have to, find training materials for car salesmen.
It's also-
that sounds interesting.
It's also very narcissistic.
Yes. You're appealing to narcissism as a psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, now this one's one of my favorites, and this is what was one of the big topics from that South Park episode, the Rainbow Ruse. We know exactly what this is. This is actually just giving it the name.
Real quick, Corndiff, Electra, Casey, are you guys? Am I the only one not taking notes?
I have my 2 sheets in front of me, and I'm hoping my memory will work. If not, then I'll just ask Luigi.
I'm on my third notepad.
I don't know how this game is working.
I just want you to keep notes of these techniques of what they are. Keep a note. So here we go. I'm actually going to do a quick summary before we get to the game. So here we go. The probability part was the M names and J names. There's an example of it. The golden rule was the yes and no but. I want you to remember the tenets of them because we're going to identify them later in a psychic reading. So just whatever note you have to just make it memorable. There's going to be a quick overview before we get to the game.
Got me doing homework on a fucking
When does the
Friday.
fun start? My God, man.
When we get to the game, but we got to know what we got to get. Well, actually, if you keep drinking.
And died.
All right, here's the Rainbow Ruse.
Not to be confused with Rainbow Rouge.
The next technique is the Rainbow Ruse. These are statements which credits the person with both a personality trait and its opposite. For example, I would say that on the whole, you're the quiet type, but when the circumstances are right, you can be quite the life and soul of the party. You can be a very considerate person and very quick to provide for others, but there are times, if you're honest to yourself, you can be very selfish.
So we've heard all that before. Somebody saying something and then cushioning it with the exact opposite. You're a real extrovert, but you can be introverted when you need to be. Or,
Negative.
you're such a nice person until you're an asshole.
This is how you get bitches. This one, the Rainbow Ruse.
What's that?
This is how you get bitches.
Oh,
the Rainbow
100%.
Just to connect the two opposites are, at other
Because I'm trying to
times,
get bitches.
and yet you also have the potential to be.
Good luck.
Sadly, this
Thank you.
as I said, we are an educational channel. We are disguising this as learning how to not be deceived by psychics. What you choose to do with this information is your own business.
These work because majority of people's personalities are not static and changes depending on the situation or environment.
When you hear a statement like, you sometimes feel an extroverted urge to burst out of your shell, but reservations frequently inhibit these feelings and you're often comfortable allowing others to get the attention. How accurate is this description of you? This is an example of a Rainbow Ruse, a statement that attributes someone with opposing personality traits and lets confirmation bias do the rest. You see, nobody is entirely introverted or entirely extroverted. If you're more extroverted, you'll think, wow, I'm extroverted and sometimes introverted. This statement applies to me. And if you're more introverted, you'll think, wow, I'm introverted and sometimes extroverted. This statement applies to me. That's why this type of statement works so well, because the exact inverse of it works just as well. I would say that you often feel quiet and reserved, but when the mood strikes you, you can easily become the center of attention. If you're able to read someone's body language, it's not hard to slip a Rainbow Ruse into a live reading, making the Rainbow Ruse a valuable tool in a psychic con artist toolkit.
And I get the sense that she's, for some reason or another, a little nervous.
The bereaved son doesn't respond to nervous, so Rosemary completely turns it around.
Which is so not like her, because she's really talkative.
How about perverted, Latin vaginas?
And pushy and out there.
Yes. Nice save. Was she tall and short, too?
All right. Okay, so now we have those were the three things. So we had the probability, Rainbow Ruse, Golden Rule, Vanishing Negatives, now Barnum statements. I might skip ahead. This is pretty boring. Oh,
well, then how will we know? How can we play the game if you skip ahead?
Yeah, I
we're in for a dime, we're in for a dollar. Let's go.
Okay,
all right. I'm on page 3 of notes over here, Doc.
Making the Rainbow Ruse a
I fucked up. There we go. All right.
The bereaved son doesn't respond to nervous, so Rosemary...
The leg issue?
Perhaps.
Hey, was she tall? Hey, was she tall and short, too?
All right, Barnum statements. Made famous by P.T. Barnum.
The next technique is to memorize some Barnum statements. These are statements that are true for most people. Here's a few examples. You tend to feel you have a lot of unused capacity, and that people don't always give you full credit for your abilities. Some of your hopes and goals tend to be pretty unrealistic. You often give yourself quite a hard time over
Okay, so we can summarize this one. Stuff that applies to everybody. At around 3 to 13 to 15, you went through puberty, right?
Statements like,
recently you have had to recover from a disappointment. Your sexual adjustment has presented some problems for you.
Trevor.
You have a great deal of unused capacity.
Other examples of Barnum statements include,
Oh, that would have been a perfect spot for a fart.
You had an accident when you were a child involving water. You have a box of old, unsorted photographs in your house. Or asking if an elderly person had pain in their legs, hips, or back, had trouble walking, or took a rough fall in their old age.
And what about trouble with legs?
Do you understand the leg issue?
Who's having the issue with walking?
Was there a man with a cane, like a grandfather or father who had a cane?
This is Paul Zenon, a former psychic turned mentalist, exposing the tricks of psychics by reading a collection of Barnum statements to a TV audience. Without even directing it at the show host, he scored hit after hit with her, showing just how universally applicable these kinds of statements are.
There's an older man that you associate with the initial B, an older man who's probably in your family or close to your family, and he's always suffered long term with a pain at the sort of back of his chest region, okay? But when you think of him, you always think of that daft thing that he does that makes you laugh.
The letter B, my dad's Brian.
You're generally outgoing.
Kudo asking a woman if her husband disliked the dish she cooked.
Did you always cook him certain foods, but he didn't like it?
If you're married to someone for years, you're pretty much guaranteed to find one dish that they're not fond of. Other Barnum statements apply to everyone in a particular demographic and can be used by psychic.
You're very intuitive.
Here we
So
go.
open-minded.
We're gonna skip that.
Most people
Fine
need to be
flattery.
like you.
Okay, so this is just basically dropping a little bit of a compliment on the person. Sorry, I'm realizing how boring this is. You're going to drop a little bit of a compliment with the fine flattery. It's just basically saying, hey, you know what? It's just a compliment to get their serotonin up and get them listening to you. Oh, you're really pretty. Oh, you know, something like that. Okay, now psychic credits. This is an interesting one. This one is a little sneaky.
Next is psychic credits. These are character statements which credit the person with some form of psychic or intuitive gifts. The psychology behind this is that if you can convince people that they're at least somewhat psychic, then they're more likely to believe you're psychic. Like the previous technique, it's not effective to just say, hey, you're psychic too, or you're very intuitive. It's better to say, I bet you're probably the type of person who will be thinking about someone, and the next thing you know, they message or call you. Am I right?
Seems simple, right? So as I'm giving you your psychic reading, I'm going to say, oh, wow, you're really more in tune with your psychic abilities than other people are. Now, I want to make it clear that the reason I'm doing all these is because we're going to see all of these in the clips that we show later for the game. Sugar lumps.
Next, technique number 7 is sugar lumps. You can use these when you sense people are being closed-minded. For example, you know in some ways you have become very defensive, almost as if you're locked up in your own secure little castle. You know you won't come to any harm if you lower your defenses a little. Who knows, you might find a few of the answers that you've been looking for. Technique number 8 is the Jack statement. These are statements that are based on the different stages of life that for the most part we all pass through. So you'll often be correct when you say these. For people in their 30s or 40s, you could say something like, I bet you probably had a lot of goals and dreams when you were younger, and I bet that somewhere deep down, there's a part of you that sometimes just wants to scrap everything, get out of the rut, and start over again. This time, doing things your way. Now for younger people still developing their careers, you could say, now I bet you sometimes feel frustrated that your own ideas, talents, and abilities aren't given their full recognition.
Okay. I think just 2 more, something like that. So one-way verification
The 12th
predictions.
technique is one-way verification predictions. These are predictions that you can never get wrong, because people can only verify them if they become true. It's my absolute favorite. Here's an example. Someone you like is going to ask you out tomorrow, but may decide at the last minute not to do so due to shyness. See, if it actually happens, you're psychic. But if it doesn't happen, well, you're still right because she was shy. Other examples are, the end of the world is coming, or if you pray hard enough, it'll come true. Now, I only covered a fraction of the technique.
Okay, so here we go. We're
You
going
have
to
3
jump to the
children?
recap now.
I
think we've had enough.
I have 2 children.
And you had
I
a miscarriage?
No, I didn't have a miscarriage, but I consider my husband my 3rd child.
All right, so
that hair.
That's a ridiculous hair. Absolving responsibility. It's not your fault.
To never take full responsibility. You must find a way to be able to hang the responsibility on something that isn't you. For instance, mediums can blame the spirits for being unclear.
Even more narcissism.
Psychics can blame auras for being too faint. Mentalists can blame the signals, the mind signals, for being too confusing to decipher. All of the practitioners of cold reading can hang their failures on the coat hanger of something else.
All right, so here is the recap, and then we're going to get to our game. All right.
Wait a second. Hold on. Let me get I kind of gave up on my notes, so instead I just tried to draw what I thought a Latin vagina was. And that's if you can see, that's a sombrero.
I really thought you were going to have a taco.
Yeah, it is a taco. That would be redundant.
Okay. All right. Here at the Luigi Greenberg Foundation, we're all about education. Probability, also called shotgunning, is the way to throw out the very broad net. M names, J names, father figure. Golden rule, the improv rule also. Yes and, no but.
No but, the opposite of a Latin vagina.
Yes. Vanishing negatives. I thought so, or I didn't think so.
Can you read these in Spanish?
C. Barnum statements. Some of your goals may be unrealistic. Those are statements that apply to everybody. She still has a Latin penis. Rainbow Ruse. You're great, but you're also not great. Fine flattery. Hey, you know what? You have very pretty hair.
I know, but what does it have to do with this?
Psychic critics. You might be psychic too. Sugar lumps. Maybe open your mind. It won't hurt you. Stop being such a cunt. We're actually going to see some sugar lumps. We are going to see some. Also what I call moves. Jack statements. I bet you had a lot of goals and dreams when you were younger. Also, a bunch of old people, maybe ask them about their legs.
You've clearly given up, haven't you?
Yeah. One-way verification. It might happen. It might not happen. I'm just the messenger.
Then give me my money back.
Changing your meaning or pivoting. This is one. It's kind of self-explanatory. Does this mean anything to you? If not, move on. Absolving responsibility. You're wrong, blame the spirits.
How come Corndiff isn't dancing?
Who's gonna know? Oh yeah, Hamhead did ask for a shimmy.
Did he? Oh, shit.
He did. Okay. And then the last is confirmation bias. I also call it pirating. The client takes over and begins to make their
Corndiff
own
is cutting up a
suggestions.
fucking rug right now, man.
Yeah, he's a good dancer.
Get your groove on, baby.
All right, so here is a demonstration of cold reading, a classic moment
Currently
in cold
one
reading.
of Britain's most successful mediums. Please welcome my
Hey.
next guest, Maureen Flynn.
It's one of the things there's so many British shows that I'm mad that I didn't live in my native England to enjoy, and this is definitely one of them. I can't believe this is just on TV in England. We don't have something like this.
Good evening, everybody. I hope to be able to make a link with someone here tonight and bring a loved one through from the world of spirit. I have been given the name of Taylor. Now, someone here tonight either is Mr. Taylor or the name of Taylor will have a close connection with you.
My mother's maiden name is Taylor.
Because you see, I have a gentleman here who links with that name very clearly, and he would have been quite elderly when he passed, and he passed with a heart condition, chest, lungs, heart condition, and he would have linked with your mum, and he came very clearly to bring his love to you. I feel he's your
Gross.
granddad. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And who's Jimmy?
You tell me,
Do you know who Jimmy is?
Can't
Or
picture it, Jimmy.
James?
You're the psychic.
I'd love you to find James, because I feel that there's a
My
link in the
dad was a
family
Taylor.
there for that name.
All right, that made me laugh. That's good.
That's the comment of the night right there.
That
man.
is a comment of the night. My dad was. That's good. I like that.
Hang on a minute. Do you know who Doris is?
No, I can't picture that either.
I know I made a mistake linking this gentleman with Doris, because he doesn't look a bit like a Doris, as I said. But I do know
It's
that
not
I'm
really
in the
my
same
fault, but I
area
did
here.
fuck up.
I have a lady, and I don't know whether I'm saying Doris, Dorothy, or Doreen, but the Dory bit is right. And I know that I'm in this area here. Can
Absolving
someone here take
responsibility.
Doris? Can you place the... I want to say Dory, but I know it's a name
Doris,
like...
you're right.
Doris. And the young man who passed in some kind of crash, some kind of accident. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, we're on a programme and everybody wants the truth, so you've got to go a little further.
I'm terribly sorry. The name of John I want to give too.
See, it was funny. That would have been a perfect opportunity for a sugar lump. Hey, open your mind. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah,
Does
stop
John
being
make
so
sense to
bloody
you?
English.
No, but I think you got him crossed with the last caller. It's James or Jimmy?
Last caller.
James, Jimmy. Please forgive me. I'll have to let you be the judge of whether that makes sense to you, because
Oh, thank
obviously
you.
when you're trying to put a lot in very quickly, then you do get these sort of things.
Absolve responsibility.
But he passed very suddenly and very quickly. And it's funny because I could feel something over his face. I could feel something over his face. As if he would have had some kind of...
This is most unfortunate you picked me, actually, because I'm a slightly non-believer.
But does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense.
That's right. That's
I
fine.
used to love
Because
sitting on his face.
I just felt. And he reached out his hand. He reached out his hand.
Yes, you've got my husband, so... but I'm really the wrong person for this programme.
Well, I'm terribly sorry. You should have told your husband that. Not me.
Oh, God. Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that obviously through all this he's been trying to reach you, and just to let you know that he's pleased you're here. But I hope that maybe his link with you will bring you some joy that he's here with you tonight, and a lot of love.
Okay. So she makes this, and it is edited for television, of course, not live. And Mr. Randy comes out with the transcription and facts.
The transcription?
Well, I want us to look carefully at the connections that you say you made. Let's take a vote. First, how many people in our audience tonight can connect with the name Taylor? About 30%. And now, how many people can relate to the condition of the grandfather? About 55%. So to sum up, about a third connect with the name Taylor, and over half connect with the details of the grandfather. Well, that's very interesting. Maureen's statements seem to be more general than each of you thought before we took the vote. Make of that what you will. Let's consider whether you might have forgotten other details which none of you picked up. Do people remember accurately what takes place in a reading? Well, we have with us tonight Mr. Rod Beal. Mr. Beal, you're a satisfied client of Maureen's, I understand. Is that correct?
Yes.
She did a reading for you
She
not too long
satisfies
ago,
me
which I
in every
understand you think
session.
is a very good reading.
Yes, she did.
A few simple questions, if I may. First of all, how long did the thing last, first of all?
About half an hour.
About half an hour. How many names, pardon me, did she give you during that period of half an hour? Would you
Probably
say?
half a dozen.
Half a dozen. Everybody remember that number?
Yep.
About half a dozen. And did they all hit?
Not everyone.
How many
but
did
they
you
had a
say?
similar sounding, like Doreen, Maureen, that type of thing.
Well, you were kind enough to give us a tape recording of that reading done by Maureen Flynn for you. And for your information, during your reading, Maureen Flynn tried these names, and they are on the tape of the reading that you're referring to. Alan, Alfred, Alice, Anne, Bill, Charlie, Colin, Connie, David, Derek, Eileen, Ellen, Flory, Frank, Fred, George, Jim, Joe, John, Karen, Catherine, Kevin, Lillian, Lisa, Liz, Lynn, Mark, Mary, May, Michael, Rob, Ron, Shirley, Sydney, Stanley, Sid, and Steve. That's 37 names, and she also asked you if you could connect with any name beginning with an N or an L, and you could not do so. Now, in the ones that were accepted, and you did accept 9 of the 37 that were given, these were some of the categories: a son, a lodger, a brother, a nephew, an adopted nephew, a grandfather, a fellow worker, a cousin, and the neighbor's dog. Now,
That's right out of context.
I'm sorry?
Right out of context.
We have a transcript of it right here, sir, and you may have that transcript to refer to it, and the names, I think, are outlined there, all 37 of them.
You can...
So what's amazing that I think that demonstrates
She's
is
so
that...
pissed.
What's that?
She's so pissed.
Yeah, she's pissed. The amazing thing that when you take that into context is even in the midst of all of these techniques, and even in the midst of trying to fake the act of talking to dead people, a person who believes this is simply going to remember what they want to remember, believe what they want to believe. Even in the midst of the failures, they're still going to have the confirmation bias to confirm that what they wanted to experience was in fact experienced. And I feel like that's what this really demonstrates. Go ahead.
Speaking of bias, I mean, you wonder sometimes too, like they mention this sometimes on bullshit. Like, she's standing there in front of this crowd after she did her whole dog and pony show, and Randy comes out and just point by point, pops every fucking balloon in her arsenal, and she stands there and what happened?
Who was that?
But she just stands there and, and takes it, and people would, an intelligent person would say, why would anyone subject themselves to that? And what they often found in when they would interview people on bullshit was they genuinely think, these narcissists, they genuinely think they're going to go there, they're going to do the shit, and they're going to be the first one that James Randi or whoever is going to go, you really do have the power. They don't think it's going to go this way. They sincerely are, I think a lot of these psychics, the successful ones, do believe their own horse shit.
In that interview with Orson that I played earlier, he actually goes a little bit deeper into that, and he talks about a phrase that the fraudsters use for someone who begins to believe their own bullshit, and it's called a shut-eye. And he said amongst groups of people who know that they are doing this as a fraud, every now and then one of them starts to believe that they in fact do have a supernatural power.
Shut-eye.
Yeah.
Or that they're just so great at performing this trick that
well, I guess there's that too. So that's the end of this. So now, one last thing before we get to the game is we're going to actually watch Miss Teresa Caputo.
Analyze anything. You can.
And then we're going to have a little bit of a pop-up theater where we identify the tricks together.
Hey, welcome back to AndersonCooper.com. This is a special web
edition.
This is
welcome for everybody. Please, everybody contribute and see if maybe there's something that got missed. Maybe there's something out there that you can identify with all of these new lessons that we learned.
We're here with Teresa Caputo and also my co-host for the day, Tamar Braxton. So, Teresa, you've been reading a lot of people, and as we went away, you said there was somebody else. You were reading something else. So.
Somebody lost a spouse,
before I
and
actually
someone
knew
also
who
lost.
she was, I saw the SNL sketch where Kate
McKinnon,
plays her. I thought it was a joke. The wig.
I think I saw that before I knew who she was too.
Yeah.
So I'm identifying this shotgunning. That's the probability thing where they're just laying out big wide net spreading out.
A sister, and someone is also wearing their mother or grandmother's religious articles, whether if it's like a miraculous medal, a cross, rosary beads, or they brought them with them.
So how many things did she just now mention? Like if you just count them out, there were about 9 different options that she is inviting someone to latch onto.
Who lost the spouse?
10. Now we're going to 10.
I think I'm right. I'm right here. Is your wife departed? Your wife has departed? Okay, because she sat next to you and she said, just sit down. Would that be her personality to tell you, just, maybe don't.
So now we just ran into an old person and said, would that be her personality that she told you what to do?
Don't speak up yet quite so much. Is that her wedding ring?
No, it's my mother's.
Okay, he said, no, it's my mother's.
Oh, because I heard the wedding ring. And that's your mom's wedding ring?
So she just said she heard wedding ring. I mean, how fast, a skilled person is doing this so fast.
Yes, it is. And this is my wife's wedding.
Now he's taking it over.
Here.
Oh, you have the wedding ring. But where is the chair? Why do I keep getting the thing with the chair? Do you still have her chair?
No.
Or did she have an issue with her legs prior to the
A jock statement?
No,
legs.
she had a
Legs, old people.
call.
He said no again.
Who had the issue with the legs? Paralyzed or something amputated? Or was there an issue with the legs where your husband was bed restriction? Is that correct? Do you understand the leg issue? Because when spirit jumps up and down, it is my symbol for that they can move freely on the other side. They do not have any disability and or ailment on the other side. They leave it with the physical body. So please know that he can move freely on the other side. Did you always cook him certain foods, but he didn't like it?
Oh my God.
That's the one that they mentioned earlier.
Oh, by the way, could you just tell him I'm not eating this anymore? And I went, what? So whatever it is, just his way of acknowledging that because no one would know about that.
Do you ever pee on the toilet seat?
Yeah. So this is one that I really hate. No one would know about that. But think about it.
Yeah.
Not sure what to call this one. I just said maybe call it a straight lie gaslighting. It was an elderly couple who couldn't guess that there would be a hacky complaint about the wife's cooking. To say no one would know about that is really trying to disguise it under some sort of cover of abilities that just aren't there. Yeah. Fantastic, Corndiff. Did he ever pee on the... Yeah. Was he ever inconsiderate?
Did he ever not want to give you the remote?
Supporting going on the trip. Who had the issue with the brain? Aneurysm, brain tumor, Alzheimer, or dementia? Who's that?
Okay. She just named 4 different things.
Rapid fire.
And died?
Calves of a shortstop.
Yeah.
No.
My brother died.
What'd you say, Casey?
She's got calves of a shortstop.
And the ass of a linebacker.
Aneurysm, and I also had a brain aneurysm.
No. Who died with the brain? The issue with the brain. And who is the MR name? Mark, Mary, Marie. They don't have to be passed. They could be here in the physical world.
Did we hear that? Let's hear it again.
She can totally cosplay as Miss Piggy.
The MR name. Mark, Mary, Marie. They don't have to be passed. They could be here in the physical world.
Doesn't even have to be dead.
That's my favorite kind of spirit.
I might be piggybacking. Somebody might have the same meaning. I need to shift to the person. Would your brother complain about not feeling well prior to the aneurysm? Yes. Because he says, even if I went to the doctor before. Now, look, I don't need any emails from doctors.
Yeah. Amazing, right?
Saying that, if you went to the doctor. Look, from what Spirit has explained to me, our destiny in life is set. I say I'll find out when I get there. He's saying that even if he went to the doctor, unfortunately, would not have prevented his passing. Might have been other complications. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
I need to talk about the person that has the Alzheimer's or who had it. So, and did you always sit with your mom? She says, please let my daughter know that I knew that she was always there. Did you tell your mom it was okay to let go? She wants to thank you for that. She wants to thank you for releasing her soul here in the physical world. Did you used to feel a presence in her room or like a coldness in the room? But a presence. See, for me, coldness is a presence of spirit. So when you would sit with mom, you would feel the presence of other loved ones that have departed. Is that correct?
Nope. All right, what were you saying, Trevor?
Just, I wonder what she would have said. Because she goes, what was it right before the coldness? She said something.
You would sit with your mom.
Right. And I wonder where she would have gone if she had said no. Like, you used to sit with your mom. Well, she wanted you to sit, but you never would.
Yeah, I mean that's very likely where it would have gone. Who hasn't sat with their mom? Who doesn't have a memory of sitting with their mother? I mean,
but see, that's the guy. Because I'm such a a cynic, I guess. But that's what I would have been if I was in the audience. I would have been the guy who just never gives her anything. Like, no,
100%.
Never loved my mother. She was a cunt to the day she died. Just.
Is there an M name? I'd be like, oh, right here. Oh, wait, did you say M? No, his name was Ralph.
Yeah.
All right. So
You would feel a presence.
this is going to
Know
end
that
it,
that's spirit.
and then we will
And that she was
get
not alone.
to our own fun. Lady said no. Okay, so that's the thing. The lady says no. She says, "Did you feel spirits?" She says no. So despite her saying no, Teresa just moves forward. Oh, and then says,
"Oh, she didn't say
okay."
anything
She says because those spirits that you were feeling were blah blah blah. The lady's like, "No, I said no."
I just said I didn't feel.
Yeah,
she's gaslighting her too.
100%.
Do you understand that? She also wants to thank you for not treating her as if she was sick. Did your
Every
mom
day I
always complain
said you're
about being
sick,
cold?
Mom.
She just held up a knitted blanket and placed it to the side.
She just said, "Was your mom cold? Did your mom complain
she
about
died,
being cold?"
yeah.
All old ladies are cold.
Exactly. 100%. Yes. She said, we've already just established that she was elderly. Being cold is just like the next logical step.
That's my symbol for that they're not cold anymore on the other side. Really acknowledging that any disability or
Although I
ailment
bet
they left
Teresa
with the
doesn't get
physical
cold
body.
very often with them ham hocks.
Hey, Dang Lizard, thank you for the €5. After the theoretical exam today, how many practical hours do I need to apply as a TV psychic? I'm still working on the certification process from Luigi Greenberg Universities, but it's not much.
Who was buried in a red dress?
Thank you.
Stop it. Or
Okay. You mentioned the gaslighting. There is not going to be a better example of gaslighting than what is about to happen. She just said, "Who was buried in a red dress?"
You go, oh no, not me. Or they would, or someone was viewed because they had me stand at a casket and I saw someone viewed, and I'm viewing someone's physical body, and they said, "Can you believe that this is how I was laid to rest?" Or did someone? They just told
Okay, so she was really about to pivot there. She goes, "Or," and then someone interrupted her.
me. Yeah. So who was that? So you thought that? You thought that about someone?
My mother was in a fuchsia dress and she was viewed. And when she died,
Fuchsia.
she was holding my hand and she said, "The light."
Did Teresa say fuchsia dress?
No.
Pretty sure that she said red dress. But the lady just took it over, and she made the connection herself, saying, "Oh, she must have meant my red dress," and then begins to spill her guts out to explain what she believes is the connection that was made. Now, it is time for us to identify these tricks, and it is time for everyone's favorite game show.
Come on, Corndiff.
Okay, round one. Now, this is when I'm going to need everybody to use their bingo cards, pick one at random. And what I would love for everyone to do is shout out when you see when one of these techniques are being used by Mr. James Von Prague.
So I have to get my bingo card that you sent me?
Yes.
Told us to pick 2 cards.
Yeah, it's going to be for the rounds. Oh, you can pick 3. Go ahead and pick one. But yeah, just you can use the same one, I guess, theoretically, for each round if you want. But we're going to be playing 3 rounds. Whoever gets 2 out of 3 wins, and the prize is a surprise.
How many?
You can pick one,
how many
whatever.
of these?
Just we're going to play 3 rounds.
What's the prize again? Because that's going to determine how hard I play this game.
Respect.
Okay.
And if you answer wrong, are you negative points?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Well, I lose street cred.
I have a question.
You
I
will
have a
lose
question.
Okay, what's your question?
And it's of a technical nature. You may want to cut this out, but how do we mark the bingo cards?
Marker on your screen.
In your brain.
What I did was I pulled it up on my phone, and using like the edit marker, I would just like rub a dot on it.
I got one for you guys.
If you're on Windows,
Hold on.
open
If
it.
you're in Windows, create a file, go new, and folder, and then take the folder and put. Oh, it doesn't work.
But what if you're superior and you use Apple?
Well, you're in the. You need to go back the way you came.
Don't serve your highfalutin kind out here,
Okay,
son.
so I made it my background of my screen, so it's up in the corner there, and then I put files over make a new file. And
or you can just write them down. Just write them down.
Open it up in Paintbrush if you're on Windows.
Y'all are overcomplicating this. It's bingo.
Okay. I got
Says
it.
the man that just played us an hour and a half of detailed.
So that you can learn the rules of the bingo game.
Then why do you think I care so much now?
Look,
Okay, let's
no
play.
one is going to play the bingo game, but at least we wasted an hour learning about it.
I'm hyped.
Truth is, I'm drunk. No one's gonna win. I'm kidding. All right, are we ready?
A Burnham statement. That's a Burnham statement, right? No,
Bingo.
Okay, I got my first one wrong.
Barnum statement.
Barnum.
You remember it as P.T. Barnum means something that's applicable to everyone. All right.
Yeah, we're all drunk. See how that's right.
Luigi's
Here we go.
drunk
Are
with
we ready?
power.
I need a confirmation. Corndiff, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. DJ Electra, you ready?
He's drunk
Ready.
with PowerPoint. Let's be honest.
Casey, are you ready?
Born ready.
All right. Trevor, you ready?
Sure, Doc.
All right. Here you go. Round one. James, you know what, Latanya Vegas? I do work too hard.
He works hard and he plays soft.
Here we go. James Von Prague. Shout him out when you hear him.
Well, we're back with medium James Van Prague, who has had us fascinated all morning about the world of ghosts and the unknown. And we're going to throw it open to you with our studio audience now. Take it away and see what you can see.
Okay, sweetheart, great.
Bingo.
I'm going to start with this lady right here who's sitting right in the first row. I have a mother figure, very strong, coming around you, okay? And with the name of either Mary, Margaret, do you understand the name? Margaret Mary, okay, Margaret Mary. And I got to tell you that
Shotgunning, probability.
Thank you.
I feel before she passes over,
And a
though,
Barnum
there's a lot
statement
of...
because mothers. Everyone has one.
But have they died? He's asking if they died.
You do not let Electra get everyone right because she's got big tits. Don't let that happen.
He's asking if they died.
Hard time to walk or hard time to get up and get things going. Do you understand that? And also...
Anybody?
No.
Jock statement.
Jock statement, yeah. Everyone's hard to get up and walk.
He's judging by their age by saying she must know somebody who had problems with their legs.
Hard time. Did medicines before she passed?
Incidental questions.
Yeah.
Well, she was on
Well,
medication, but
that's what I'm asking,
she didn't
okay.
have any painkillers.
That's why I tried to spend an hour of teaching.
Right, but there were medications she
So it
took
was like,
because of
now it's like cramming. I felt like we crammed, and now we're taking the
I
test,
know.
and I don't remember anything.
I know. I should have given this to you a week ago and then taken the quiz today.
Much fun. It would have been much fun.
I feel this very, very much before when she's coming in here. And I feel some arthritis, by the way. There's a lot of arthritis, and there's a bone problem. There's also something with her back, so I don't know if she sees to sit and have a pillow.
Now, we're just repeating them, so there's no reason
it's the same thing,
to repeat. It's the
I'm waiting
exact
for it.
same thing. Yeah.
Waiting for
We're
it.
waiting
Jock statement.
We're waiting for a new one. Yes, exactly. Jock statement. We're waiting for a new one, but these are just, he's reusing them.
With the back of her,
No.
or is that you?
No.
No, that doesn't make sense to you? Okay, and what about trouble with legs?
No.
Okay, who has trouble with the legs now?
Well, my father's had 2 hip replacements.
2 hip replacements. He cannot walk as well as he used to.
Oh, no, he walks
confirmation.
very well.
Okay.
Confirmation bias? No.
I'm going to say no on that one because she shot him down. Where he asked a question,
tried.
she answered it.
Yeah,
you know,
he tempted confirmation bias.
What about
Right.
vanishing negatives?
No, because he didn't say.
Did that count as pivoting when he said something? She was like, "No, it's
you know
not."
what? You know what? I'm going to say yes. I am going to say yeah. Pivoting. Okay. Yes.
Then he said, "Okay, well, who had a bone?"
Right.
whatever
And that's
problem.
another. Yes. Exactly. Another
Well,
incidental
what's
question.
the game here? Is the game what he's successful at or what he tries? Because what he tried was confirmation bias.
Okay. Okay. I'm fine with the trying, but the confirmation bias is, in my opinion, I'll open this up to court. Confirmation is when the person being read starts taking it over.
I don't even care. Take the point away from me. Go-
But you're right. He is attempting to bait her into confirmation bias, and she shoots him down. He says, "Oh, okay, so this," and she goes, "No."
Okay. Right. Was your mother buried?
Yes.
Okay, that's
she's
a jockey statement or no Barnum statement. Barnum statement. Everyone's mother is eventually buried.
Golden rule. Golden rule. Golden rule.
You know, I'm gonna say I think DJ Electra's right on that one because he was saying a yes and where she's like, "Oh, okay, So then, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
So we're supposed to remember what you played before? When you
I
paused?
tried to give you a recap.
It's simple.
The only way I could make a bingo game was if I gave you more than 12.
By the way, Trevor just bailed.
I realized that.
Have we noticed? He's like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this part.
Trevor.
He doesn't support testing, standardized testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or yeah,
I
education.
do. Very competitive.
Also, he's probably hungry. I'm very hungry as well.
Talking about being buried and about in a wake, or a funeral rather, and she knows about it. She was very surprised by it all. And who's Kathy or Kathy? Is there Catherine or Kathy? Catherine or Kathy? Oh, she's talking about that.
Weird.
Kathy. You know about that?
Keep trying.
This name?
Well, Kate.
Katie.
You're
Who's
one of your
that?
cousins. I have a cousin now that's just
passing.
had surgery.
Right now?
Come with me today, but she just had to have surgery.
Definitely confirmation bias.
Let's talk about her, and she's praying with her, okay? I also know who's Catholic, but there's someone who's Catholic background. And,
we all are.
You all are, okay.
Yeah.
So there was a mass said for her, and she wants to thank you for a mass that was said, and there are prayer cards that are said. There's a picture of Mother Mary somewhere around. Picture of Mother Mary, would you know about this? Lee know about this. Picture
Well,
of Mother
all
Mary.
Catholics have Mother Mary around somewhere.
Good, okay, well, I don't.
You know.
But of course, that was years ago.
That still goes on. But Nola's mother's name is Mary. And
He's a Mary, yeah.
Nola's mother died
Yeah.
when Nola was only 6.
Oh, okay.
That was in 1950.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go backwards?
I do go backwards. I go backwards, frontwards, sideways also.
He likes it backwards.
So I want to talk.
What's that?
Nothing. Well, there he's back. Should be docked a point for not participating.
You gave up on the game.
But something else with you though.
First of all,
Music.
I heard everything you fuckers said.
We knew you.
The only one that took physical notes, and then he just disappears when the test comes.
Music. I don't know why about music. Did you not do music? Were you going to do music when you were younger and you stopped doing music?
No.
Okay, you never wanted to play the piano?
No.
Okay, who was that one to play the piano? Or music?
I don't know.
Don't know,
No
okay.
one in my family's
Okay.
musical.
I want to talk about this lady here. Your husband's passed over? Or your father's passed over, rather?
Father
passed
is.
over. I don't know if he liked cars. There's no thing about cars. But there's something about cars with him. I mean, he told me about this, okay? I don't know if he just recently got a car, or there was talk about getting a car, or changing a car. Are you a living or dead? Do you understand?
Getting flop sweat.
Do you understand about the cars?
No.
Did you just get a car, or were there...
Worse than watching a stand-up ball.
No.
It's
No?
bad, right?
No, I've
Okay.
had it a couple of years.
Ah, okay. Who had the heart problem?
Possibly my mum.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's passed over as well?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Did you know if there was heart situation before she passes?
Really stroking that microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, and there was a situation that she was going to either get an operation or a procedure done, something before that, okay? So I don't know if you know that she didn't get that. I also want to ask who I'm with Teresa or Terry, but I am, okay?
Now, this one was strategically placed first because of the repetition. So now that we've said that we're not going to have to rename each technique he's using, you're getting very familiar with each of the things because he is flopping bad and he's doing them over and over and over again. So now if I were to ask you about shotgunning or a Barnum statement, you're probably going to be able to define it pretty well, right?
No. Michael Richards' last stand-up night went better than this.
All right, go fuck yourselves.
This is going great.
It is going great. You ran away and left. All right, here we go. Now we're gonna get a couple of new ones that we haven't used before.
I got to tell you that.
Sorry, what did you say?
Teresa or Terry?
Teresa?
Mm-hmm. Teresa or Terry. And
I had
was
to
there a
actually
divorce
get
with
some
you?
real liquor in my drink.
Never. You never married?
No.
Okay. I'm not surprised.
No
because I
shit.
want you to love yourself more.
Well, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. Wow. I want you to
fuck you.
I wouldn't fuck you with his dick. But did you hear that?
Sugar lumps. Sugar lumps.
Sugar lumps.
Sugar lumps is what they called me.
Where's
That
my?
was my nickname.
Oh, damn it! Where's my? Oh.
Did we already do pirating?
There was an attempt at pirating. It failed. I'll take it. But yes.
Bingo.
Yay! Okay, you win.
Now how does she prove it?
She wins round one.
Oh,
No,
so
she
she
won.
can just
She won.
so she can just say bingo.
No, I got all 4 in a row in diagonal and number
The-
card
Yeah,
number
but we
4.
don't know. But we
The
haven't. We
Luigi
haven't seen your
Greenberg
card.
auditing services will audit her cards.
Yeah, he has. It's card number 4.
I have card 4 too, so technically we tied.
But you didn't get it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't say bingo.
Nope.
So this is a shotgun situation. That's how you win this game.
All right.
Yep.
I think it's right around the end too. Okay, round 2.
Because you don't. I need you to love yourself more. Okay?
We're starting round 2.
Or a cigarette.
James.
Hold on.
So in this,
Yes, people come tonight, they'll have a great experience.
Now, thank you for joining us on the
Look at
show.
it.
Your
Yes.
website, in case people have got any questions.
Vanprog.com.
Wow, the Bloods and the
vanprog.com
Crips.
if you'd like to tune into the other side. Now, here's another great circle opportunity.
That is a guy who loves women. That is a cocksman.
I think today's the anniversary of someone's either passing or today's the anniversary of someone's wedding. So in the section over here, where's the AN name? Like Anna or Ann? Who has the AN, living or past? Can you stand up, guys? Can we get a mic to you?
Right here. Hi.
And is that a dad figure that's passed? Where's the A for you?
How awful was that? You
all
never
shotgunning, right?
when you said
Wasn't
you
that shotgunning?
never married. Yeah, I'm not surprised. What a dick.
I know.
Didn't he just do shotgunning?
Yes, shotgunning.
Yeah, shotgunning.
Yeah, my dad.
Okay. And then why would he tell me to talk about somebody having the blockage in the colon or somebody having an abdominal issue?
Several people in
Your
my
dad
family,
was
but
full of shit, is what he was saying.
me.
Incidental question.
I'm going to tell you that
Incidental questions.
July seems important because they tell me to talk about July. So that to me would be birthday or anniversary.
In
But I started off by
July.
saying about today. Right around today, there's something significant.
On Thursday is the anniversary of my father's passing.
Okay, so to me, this is his way of saying, I want you to know that I'm here. I see that. I knew that you were going to be here. I got you to be here. Say hi to Carmen, Carmel, who's the C or K name? Is there a C or K living in your family?
Caitlin is my
Carmela.
daughter.
Hi, Caitlin. So this would be your dad's way of acknowledging the granddaughter.
This was his everything.
So were you the only or the first?
First.
So the first granddaughter? Okay, but you're also the first to do something else in the family. So you were the first to achieve something. So I don't know if you were the first to graduate college, if you were the first to get a degree, you were the first to do something.
First to appear on one of these shitty shows.
Awesome, very, very cool. Are you going into healthcare? Are you going into healthcare?
No.
There's a healthcare connection.
I'm a nurse.
Let me talk about the healthcare. Did you take care of your dad?
Confirmation bias.
Did you take care of your dad?
Yeah, my mother took care of him, but I helped take care of him.
100%.
I'm not even playing, and already she's kicking my ass.
100% confirmation bias.
I'm supposed to tell you that you were militantly friendly while you were taking care of him.
I had to drive him to chemo in the city, and he hated to go into the city, so I would literally tell him, shut up, close your eyes, we're driving.
He's telling me to tell you AN again. Who's the AN?
I'm Andrea.
Andrea.
I'm named after him.
Are you Andrea Marie?
No.
Who's the MAR like Mark? MAR like Mary?
My mother is Marjorie.
Marjorie.
Oh my God.
Is she still here? Is Marjorie still here?
Oh, hi,
Yes.
Marjorie.
Okay, so
So did y'all
That's got to feel good when you hit on a bunch of them in a row. I got to say.
Yeah, it's getting me excited. I'm like,
okay. Did he hit a bunch in a row?
No, but you feel it's almost like stand-up comedy where people are laughing, so I don't feel as nervous. And
Now-
it's like a room where it's dead and no one's laughing. Then I feel nervous for him. I don't feel nervous for this
100%.
guy. He's killing.
So, okay. So let's actually really kind of dissect that a little bit because that one's really clever. He got away with it. No one called him out on it. But when you listen, he's full of shit, even with what he's claiming just happened. He started by saying that there is a dead person with an AN name. And through a bunch of circular conversations and reasoning, we have come to learn she has made this connection where it's not a dead person with an AN name. It is, in fact, her with an AN name. But then giving him the win where he's saying, yep, that's what I said. Did y'all realize that?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Weege?
Yes.
I realized that.
Okay. Good. Then educational here at the Luigi Greenberg studio.
the joke that I see symbolically is you need to keep her as healthy as possible, to keep her here as long as possible, so he can have peace.
What a bombshell. Fucking asshole.
Well, South Park called him like the biggest douche in the world, right?
Yep. In the universe.
Caitlin and Andrea, what does it mean to have that
moment called out for you right now?
Amazing.
Drew.
We miss my father every
God
day.
damn it,
He was
Drew.
a wonderful man. He was her poppy. It's, like I
Hey,
said,
real
it's coming up.
quick. You know who almost hooked up with Drew in the Dabbleverse?
Me.
Who can forget this?
What?
Who can forget this? Almost hooked up with her one night.
Does he want you telling this story?
Yeah, he the way he told it, he absolutely did. He's like, you know who I almost fucked? And if not, then fuck it.
I was in Hollywood in the aughts. What you're describing there was not a hard task.
No.
Yeah.
That's exactly when it was.
Knew many lead singers at the Dragonfly who jumped in that ocean.
Yeah, he's a musician, so it was very
Yep,
like
that
pretty
was
easy
her. That was her thing.
Yeah.
I've told y'all that I partied with Topanga once, right?
All right, it's not a competition.
You told me that.
No. I didn't bang her. She was dating a friend of mine. But it was interesting, though, that I felt a weird, what's the word I'm looking for?
Arousal in your pants.
A connection to her in which I was like, my friend's banging her. That's just as good as me banging her. I'm going to tell my friends.
That's some stuttering John shit right there, dude.
I know. But I was so starstruck by it. Anyway.
11
Did
years
I ever
on
tell
Thursday.
you? Did I ever tell you I once fucked the principal from Boy Meets World?
We all knew that.
And
Was
we
he
miss him
hot?
every day, and I was just in
No.
cemetery the other day. And,
No,
said
see,
hello
I
to
asked if I
him.
told you because I don't want
And
it
then
out there.
somebody drowned
Got it.
up there. Somebody passed in asphyxiation. But in this section, you guys are safe. In this section,
Someone,
Mr.
okay,
Feeney.
so he threw out another shotgun where he says somebody died of asphyxiation. Now that could mean anything.
somebody passed from either an
Are you
actual
still watching
drowning
this?
or like an asphyxiation. And that to me is a drug overdose or I hate to be graphic.
So
guys,
now
I'm
it's
sorry.
expanding into drug overdose.
I'm sorry to be,
Right.
but I talk about everything here.
But
So I'm like,
can we stand? We get a mic too?
hi, please take that.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Did somebody asphyxiate?
So I had a friend who passed away from a drug overdose.
Okay.
So notice how the entire interpretation and application changed. He started by saying someone asphyxiated, and then he threw out maybe by a drug overdose, but now her confirmation bias has, approved of what he's saying by saying, oh yeah, I know somebody who died of a drug overdose.
That could be a clip, by the way. You could clip that because that was really funny by itself. He was going,
Yeah,
"Hi,
and that's
hi,
considered
hi,
a hit.
Hi. Did he asphyxiate? It's a good pickup line.
Okay. And then where's the L like Luke or the L like Lisa? Where's the L name?
God, I hope that's
Landon.
true.
Landon. And then is May important for you?
Oh,
or is it something symbolic in
wow.
May, birthday or anniversary?
Oh
So
wait,
my husband starts that,
I want y'all to
But I
see
talk
that.
about
That's
everything
that's
here.
that's an amazing
So I'm
one right
like-
there.
Can we stand?
Watch
We get a mic too?
what
Hi,
happens.
please take that.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Did somebody asphyxiate?
So I had a friend who passed away from a drug overdose.
Okay. And then where's the L like Luke or the L like Lisa? Where's the L name?
My son, Landon.
Landon.
Not a dead person. This kid next to her just completely thinks that L name must mean him and has jumped at it. And he's like, he means me. I'm not dead. And anyway, we don't have to keep going if you guys don't want to, but I wanted to show you how this stuff is done and how
I think Electra really wants to win this.
only 50% of it is actually done by the psychic. The other 50% is done by the person being read.
Yes, that is very apparent.
Well, nobody wins the prize.
It's good.
Good
I
night,
won the
everybody.
First prize.
Is this-
I
is
thought
this-
I won
is
the
this-
first prize.
Hold on. is
Connor
this why-
McLeod wins the prize.
Oh, didn't Electra bingo?
She did,
Yeah.
but we were supposed to do 2 out of 3, and then Trevor started running away and spoiled the game for
She
everybody.
got
Now
one.
nobody can win. Nobody
Listen,
can
man.
win.
I got
I
one
thought-
of one. So I won. Yay.
I thought by this time I would be on the phone with Donna G reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy Tour, but I guess we're not doing that tonight.
Yes.
Luigi, is this why these kind of people have disappeared and mentalists are now the thing? Because with mentalists, it's the same bullshit, but we're going to tell you it's bullshit beforehand.
I don't know that psychics have disappeared. These are all 3 actively
He's
working
eating now.
psychics.
He's eating on his own show. God damn.
I am. I am.
I tried. I heard you the whole goddamn time and trying.
The 3 people that I'm showing you are still actively doing this for audiences. There's
Really?
no
Where?
disappearing of anything.
I never see him anywhere.
Teresa Caputo has
Teresa
had her own
definitely
show for like 20 years.
Yeah, dude, she is going strong.
I guess I just
Okay,
don't watch TV.
can I bring up one point?
Yeah.
One of the firmest skeptics you mentioned at the beginning of this show, which was like 3 days ago, was Howard Stern. Right? And so Howard Stern, huge skeptic, did this whole thing where he's like, I have this lady die and she's going to tell me a secret word. And then just recently, like a month or 2 ago, he said, this psychic who came in told me the word and it was hair or some curly or some shit like that. And so now he...
Wait. This happened on the show?
This happened on the show. So this Houdini-like fastidian bargain that Stern made with like, you know, I know this. Only a real psychic will be able to tell me this. That happened. And so no one believed it because no one trusts Howard anymore. So he think about that. He auctioned off that little bit of his relevancy that was left just to say, oh, this one psychic got the word. Yeah, so.
Are you fucking serious? Like, that hurts me to hear. That's really...
why I brought it up. I wanted
that's
to hurt
really
you. You
pathetic.
just hurt me for 3 hours. Not even.
Man, that is... that hurts me.
It was crazy because it really was something that he had going on for like 10 years. Like, I forget the lady, Valerie Harper, maybe? I don't know. That's jumping in my head. But a lady that was a friend with Howard that came on the show, was about to die, gave him a code word. Howard said he locked that code word up in his mind until this psychic 3 months ago said it. No one
remember
believed
that.
That is weird. Donna G, thank you for the 1999. I'm waiting.
Yeah. See?
I think I know what she's waiting for.
She wants to hear about Vogue on poetry.
Boobs.
That's what she Man, that upsets me. Like, that makes me sad to hear.
So we'll just so we know, 10 years from now, we'll be watching some skeptical robot show, and you'll be like, "I'm finally talking to my dead mom." You know,
It's going to be called Formerly Skeptical Robot.
Why does that make you sad, though?
Converted robot.
Because of the fact that he got fooled. You know, I respected him. I thought he was an intelligent guy, and he had very stern principles that he's now finally folded on. That makes me sad.
But I mean, this is also kind of back to our eternal argument about being skeptical versus cynical. I mean, it's like, I truly believe anyone of any level of intelligence can be taken in, because on some level we want to be. That's how hypnosis works, by the way. Hypnosis works the exact same way. You're not taking over anyone. Everyone who ever successfully gets hypnotized wanted to be hypnotized.
The first step in hypnotizing someone is convincing them that hypnotism is real. That's the first step you learn in magic school.
You went to magic school?
I didn't say I went to magic school. I said it's the first lesson you learn in magic school.
What's the second rule in magic school? Tell everybody you went to magic school?
No, you don't talk about magic school. That's the second rule. No, you're absolutely right, and I can't disagree with anything you're saying, but that doesn't keep me from being disappointed that he was once one of my heroes, and that he had his very, very rigid belief in it. I remember when they got on the site on the Sirius, there was a show nearby in the studios that was interviewing psychics, and he brought them on just to humiliate them, and say no to everything they did. And I mean, that's something I would do. But to think of me as years later saying, you know what, I'm finally giving in. I believe all this nonsense.
Gonna throw it out there. He did not make that change until one of his parents died. And so I think once you hit an age where your parents die, you're like, fuck it. It doesn't cost me anything to believe in this shit, and I want to feel good about my parents are in a better place. So you can see that change just happening to make yourself feel better day to day.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, also, right about the time that I stopped listening was right around 2016, 2017, and that was when Robin got sick for the first time. Yeah. He talked about going to temple and praying for Robin.
Not the first time, but yes, it was when it got really bad.
I thought it was the first time. When was the first time?
No, there was a time like in the late like 2010s, she was gone for like several weeks, and then they had her there was this time where it was that same set, that early set with the red couch and everything, where they were never cutting to her, but you heard her, and that's because she was like at home, quarantined and whatever.
I thought that was 2016. That's
no. That they did that again. That's why they knew they could do that. But it had happened before where she was having health problems. All that, and the thing is that he resisted the urge to give her shit because of all the years of giving her crap about doing the, all the
Trevor, do you
tantric
read
sex?
Do you read Donna G to sleep?
Oh, I thought you were sad that Trevor reads me to sleep. Who said that? Who was she responding to? No, I mean I do sometimes.
Gummi Chainsaw. He's a gullible robot.
That song, every time I hear it, it reminds me of the most what is it? The most impossible song on the internet or whatever. The most mysterious song on the internet. You ever heard about that one?
No, don't know that one.
It's a song that they couldn't find people couldn't find what it was. It was this synth song from the 80s.
Patent pending, Latin vaginas.
Latin vagina wants the home game.
My goal was to educate. I thought that a game would be the easiest way to educate you. But now I do think that should any of you feel tempted to go to a psychic and they start telling you nonsense, or maybe you could see a friend who is going to a psychic and you say to them, all right, let me guess that this is what they're telling you. You now have a little bit of an upper hand by understanding how to do it.
Luigi, you need to go to boiler rooms and teach this stuff to salespeople.
I work in boiler rooms.
Well, are you teaching this to your people? Because this is the sort of nonsense that...
They're the ones who taught it to me.
Oh, shit.
I have worked in environments very similar to boiler rooms, and it drains you. It drains you when you realize how much you have to lie to people, and I would love to tell people shit like this. Yeah,
that's what the whores and the coke is for.
That's true.
Numb you from the pain that you're causing these grandmas.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Dang Lizard actually has some facts on it. Let's see. It was apparently last year with Oz, the mentalist Perlman, that guessed the word curly. So wait. I'm lost. Who's Oz Perlman was a mentalist who guessed the phrase? Who guessed the word? Okay.
Howard, whenever you have a psychic or mentalist, and he'd be like, "What is the phrase that this person died told me?" And again, apparently Oz Perlman goes curly, and he's like, "You got it, good job. All right, what else is on the show, Baba Booey?"
Well, he projected
it would be bigger news than
was
that,
like,
you know.
He projected it too. He was like, "Can you do this?" He goes, "Certainly."
Interesting. Now I'm actually a little intrigued about it. All right. Well,
it just proves that you can't even trust those kind of tests. There is a true psychic, a true time traveler. They're gonna influence events out of our purview and vision. Thank you.
A true time traveler wouldn't blur anything. It could be the exact opposite could be true.
You're just not going to see.
So?
You're not going to know they exist. You're going to exist in the realities they create.
If they're doing it right, but if you were a time traveler who was irresponsible and like a weed smoker like me,
they don't go on the Drew Barrymore show. Is what I'm saying.
That's what I would do if I was a time traveler. I would fuck with everyone and anyone, especially people who were live broadcasting to millions of people.
I gotta agree with him on this one. I probably.
Oh, you gotta agree with that. I've broken the bounds of space and time. What am I going to do? Let me find some soccer moms and convince them of some bullshit.
Wait,
no.
Shit. Oh, wait. I didn't mean to take you out. Sorry, I was actually trying to take away.
Yeah, take him out of here. Oh, make me I am the king.
There we go.
I am king. Electra, don't you have a show tonight, Electra?
Yes, and I forgot to tell everyone that, yes, please, everyone, stay in the chat for, you will be redirected to DJ Electra's new show, Born to Sleuth, right after this one. And
did I send you the link?
Yeah,
I'll put it in the.
You didn't, but I found it and I got it. Easy money.
Thank you.
Gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Got to do it piece at a time.
I work for some Scientologists. Oh,
I've got stories too, man. Living out in L.A.
I actually went to Clearwater and took pictures of their Mecca. And anyway.
Is that where they spawned Clearwater Chad?
Yes. Okay. And I do have actually a vinyl of L. Ron Hubbard's jazz album.
Oh, really?
Yes. Seriously.
Wow.
It's called Power of Source. You can find it on YouTube. It's terrible.
I bet it's not better than Charles Manson's songs.
It's not better than Charles Manson.
Yeah, he actually. It's fucked up to say.
All right,
how good
we're
his
done.
Music is. You know, Walt Disney did the best drawings of the Seven Dwarfs. All right,
All right. Before we go, please, everyone, plug away. Casey Day, I believe you want to plug Daddy's Discipline.
Yes, make sure you get the Luigi Greenberg version. A lot more anal in that one. Also, check out...
Not enough, if you ask me.
Check out DJ Electra's new show right after this one. Go to djelectrafry.com. And it's good to see the Corn again. I haven't seen him in a while. Hi, Corn.
Great to see.
Dang Lizard said it was Valerie Harper. I don't think I know who that is.
I knew there was a Val. Well, was there a V? I'm hearing V. Was there a Val?
There's always
You were
a
very
V.
close.
A Latin V.
Valerie Harper. I don't think I know who that is. Huh.
Are
Was
you
it an
gay?
actress?
You really don't know who she is?
It's an actress, right?
Yes.
Newhart, maybe?
No, but she...
I'm getting my Valeries.
She had big
They don't
tits?
make enough Valeries anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Don't they all?
Because then I might remember.
Tanya.
All right. And this Sunday...
R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Yes, R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Yes.
This Sunday, unboxing Eric.
You know what's weird about Val Kilmer is that no one... I haven't seen anyone do this on Twitter. No one is posting his death scene from Tombstone, which is fucking awesome. It's one of the best death scenes I've ever
is a good
put on
death
film. And he's just sitting there and he's like, feels kind of funny. And it's just the best. It's the most baller fucking death scene. And no, I didn't see anyone post it.
I haven't heard anyone talk about his story. Will Forte told a story, I believe it was on Conan or James Corden, in which he briefly was roommates with Val Kilmer after doing the MacGruber movie. And he said that Val Kilmer would listen to The Doors and say, you know, I played this guy.
Wow.
No way.
It is Will Forte's story. It's a funny story.
I think it's a joke. I don't believe
It must be, but it's still a funny story.
Still funny. Yeah.
Do you want to plug Catch 22 or Blind Mike? No, not at all. All right.
Nah, fuck it. Fuck those guys. Let them do their own work. Oh yeah,
The
we will be
Catch-22
producing
is
Blind
your
Mike this
show.
weekend. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good show. Check it out.
All right. And Trevor?
You can, if you have any interest whatsoever in old Warner Brothers cartoons, you can watch my silly little channel at Looney Tunes Critic, or more than likely, you want to know about Dabble House. So get your tickets for Dabble House at dabblecon.live, April 10th through the 12th, I believe. And
soon.
Very soon, yes.
Next weekend, right?
I got to start packing. Yep.
Are you going?
I am a part of the festivities, yes, and
Cool.
And God willing, one of my films will be shown. I've submitted to the film festival 4 times. So,
all right.
Hopefully, yeah.
And DJ Electra. What would you like to plug?
Well, I have my show coming up next, so stay tuned for Born to Sleuth. It's me and our favorite mod, Andrea. Love all our other mods too, but she was our first, so
She's
like our first
she
child.
rules.
Guys, do you know the amount of tit weight in this show with these two ladies? Oh my god!
I'm hoping they're going to tell us.
It's just filled with
we'll bring it up.
everywhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about. Oh, I'm feeling my breast right now. No,
that's how we get viewers, baby.
That's going to get viewers. That's going to get viewers. Clip that, Gummi. Gummi, were you going to clip that?
Oh my god!
It's out in 15 minutes, baby.
And go to djelectrafry.com for all my links and socials and shit. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
very
you won.
much for being.
Congratulations, Electra. You won.
And yes, you won. And the prize I didn't want to tell anybody the prize, but the prize was going to be you get to give me a topic to cover. It's going to be completely at your discretion, and I will.
I did win that prize.
Yes, yeah, of course you did. So
I have some ideas we will discuss.
So
on the
topic.
I'm going to do a topic completely
I have
at
some ideas.
your. Wait, you're not in the scene. Sorry. All right.
I know, but I'm just saying, Electra.
right.
If you need any suggestions, I got a bunch that he does not want to do.
Oh no,
I have a
no,
list.
don't take his.
Okay.
His are terrible.
I'm going to come up with one, a really good one.
Okay. Yes, and we will discuss it, and you will get to pick it. You can be on or not, but regardless, I will cover it with as much, whatever you want to call it, tenacity as I cover any other topic.
Skepticism.
Don't threaten her like that.
Okay, well, I will send
Your
you
tenacity.
I'll send you a video of me announcing the topic. How's that?
And if I showed you my butt, it'd be fine ass city. All right. Corndiff.
Howdy.
What would you like to plug? And what is
YouTube.
your quote?
YouTube.com/@Corndiff. And the quote is, or the whatever this is. A fun surprise is in your future. Wear stretchy pants just in case.
Oh, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
That's right, it's so.